Sometimes I'm gaining, then again I'm losing. Sometimes I'm rising, yes, sir. Then again I'm falling. Sometimes I'm gaining, then again I'm losing. I'm rising, yes, sir. Then again I'm falling. Let Jesus work it out. Please, your Father would work it out. Oh, let God work it out. Please, your Father would work it out. Sometimes I'm gaining, then again I'm losing. Sometimes I'm rising, yes, sir. Then again I'm falling. Sometimes I'm gaining, then again I'm losing. I'm rising, yes, sir. Then again I'm falling. Let Jesus work it out. Please, your Father would work it out. Oh, let God work it out. Please, your Father would work it out.
All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. At this point, this is an annual Christmas review. I'm joined by my friend, scholar, and author, Bazed Lit Analyzer. How you doing today, sir?
What's up, man? Merry Christmas. Yeah,
Merry Christmas
annual tradition. Yeah.
You know, this stream, you messaged me. We've been, what is this, the fourth? This is the fourth or fifth year we've done a Christmas movie review.
Mm-hmm.
And we've kind of already hit Home Alone. We've hit basically all the major ones. And so
we've hit the big ones. Yeah,
we've hit the big ones. Tonight, we're going to be focusing on kind of a hodgepodge of movies. I titled the stream, and BLA both and I titled the stream, "Are Christmas Movies Getting Worse?" And I posted a poll here on my YouTube channel on which of the 4 movies you guys think is the better Christmas movie. White Christmas, which I would argue is a Christmas classic. It's a timeless film. Jingle All the Way, which I'm already seeing people in the chat feeling that is by far the superior Christmas movie. And then actually the most voted one right now, well, actually it's tied. It was The Grinch. And The Grinch is arguably, and BLA, correct me if I'm wrong, it is actually the most popular Christmas film.
Yes.
At least franchise.
Besides Home Alone.
But
Grinch
even Home Alone, the cartoon Grinch is the number one. And then Jim Carrey Grinch is number 3 in regards to all-time sales or revenue.
Yeah. It's huge. I mean, it helps that the cartoon, gives it some provenance, and also that it's they say a beloved children's story. But we'll get into that. But
right.
But yeah, you were saying, I mean, people are going to say, what about Home Alone? We've covered Home We covered Die Hard last year.
We covered Die Hard,
Christmas movie.
We've covered Ebenezer
Christmas
Scrooge,
Carol.
Christmas Carol. We've covered Christmas Story. We covered Christmas Vacation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we covered what's the one with Jimmy Stewart?
It's a Wonderful Life.
The bell rings. We covered that. We were covering them for a few years, so we were kind of thinking of what are we going to cover, because when you actually look into it, you would think that there are like millions of Christmas movies, but there really aren't. There really aren't that many movies.
I don't even know what we're going to do for next year. I mean, what is the Cranks, Christmas with the Cranks?
Well, we got to do the Tim Allen. We'll do that.
Yeah,
next
we haven't.
year.
Have we done Santa Claus?
No, we haven't done that one. We considered it for this year, so we definitely haven't done that though.
We have to include Santa Claus next year.
Yeah. Next year we'll have to see if this trend of like Nordic blood-soaked Christmas movies continues, because that is something that started last year, which is interesting because you've covered. I mean, you've done a lot of Christmas streams on Saint Nick, and a long time ago, the real ones will know, the folks at home, that you covered a long time ago. You covered the mushroom.
Yes, shaman, or as I refer to it.
Yes. Yeah, you covered that years ago. So we'll see if that trend continues. I don't know.
Right.
I mean,
well, in the fourth,
Satan Claus is something that keeps coming up.
Right. In the fourth movie, and here's the irony, and we're going to break all this stuff down. Actually, I think BLA's, and he hasn't told me explicitly which of the 4 is his favorite, but Bad Santa, the 4th movie that we're reviewing today, White Christmas, Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger, The Grinch, both Jim Carrey and cartoon, and then Bad Santa.
Yeah.
I know Bad Santa is kind of near and dear to your heart, is it not?
Yeah, I do love that. I love that movie. I love that movie. It's so depraved. He's the worst. He's the worst. But that makes it. The movie ends up having heart. It's actually not the worst of the movies, in my opinion. And we'll get into that when we cover it. But I like Bad Santa a lot. And last year I was with my family, and I said, "You're gonna love this movie. You guys never seen this?" I sat down with my family to watch Bad Santa, and they did not laugh. I was like, "Oh no." Okay.
I mean, that is kind of the vibe of the movie. It's whether it's your thing or not. I will say, I watched it with my wife. She thought some of the parts were like shockingly funny. So it wasn't like she was totally in on the jokes, obviously, but she thought, oh, that's funny. I think Thurman Merman is by far the star of the movie.
He is.
Like the way that he is like so excited and asking, Billy Bob Thornton questions, and he's like MFing him out and like cussing him out. And
are you fucking with me? Yes. Yeah, he's uncorrupted, which is interesting.
Exactly. That was actually my point about that movie is that was the dialectic there. So all right, well, to begin, because today's going to be a little bit different. Previously, when BLA and I have done movie reviews, and not only the 4 years in a row of doing Christmas movies, but all the movie reviews we've done together, sponsored streams and voluntary amongst ourselves, we typically will click through the movie to really give you a point by point overview of the movie and what the emphasis is. We have 4 movies today. We can't do that. And I've got, I mean, from Mozart to Die Hard, all these different movies, my videos get tagged and then they get taken down from YouTube. And then you have to go and try to cut it out so that they'll actually put the video back up on YouTube. So we are not going to be clicking through any of the 4 movies today. It's more going to be a general conversation about these 4 movies, which you would think are kind of desperate. They really don't have any connections. White Christmas, a 1954, 56 film.
Yeah.
And it obviously much more wholesome. It's kind of a musical, has a different vibe to it. You get Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it's kind of a slapstick comedy with Sinbad about getting the right toy for his son. And then you have Bad Santa, which is filled with profanity and is sort of it's an anti-Christmas movie. And then you have The Grinch. And I will confess here, I was talking about this with BLA before this stream, actually when we decided which movies to do. I've never been a Grinch fan, and it's blown me away. And my wife too. She's not a big fan of The Grinch. We've watched it a couple times now. It does have a wholesome ending at the end of the movie, but I've just never been a big Grinch fan. And it's surprising that, honestly, if you include the cartoon and the movie with Jim Carrey, it's the biggest Christmas movie. I mean, the only one that rivals it is Home Alone 1 and 2. Home Alone 1 and 2 is technically the second and the third most profitable Christmas movies. Over number 1 is the cartoon Grinch. Number 4 is the Grinch with Jim Carrey. So I think it's pretty interesting how that one is really kind of grabbed American culture and is kind of indicative. I mean, you go to Prime, like The Grinch was one of the few Christmas movies that Amazon Prime had for free. There's a handful, but a lot of them you had to pay for this year. So if you're a subscriber to the Disney Plus, which I don't recommend, but it's part of my Hulu package, you get a lot more for free. But anyways, before we get into anything specific regarding these movies, what's your BLA? Over to you. What is your macro level analysis, or how do you want to begin kind of diving into these 4 very desperate films, and all of which you could view wholesome in a different way?
Yeah, I think that the 4 films, like you said, are disparate, and they kind of go through 4 different stages of Christmas movie. This is a good selection. It's a pretty good wide-ranging selection, and I think that White Christmas is the peak of these 4. And we were watching it at Thanksgiving, and it's sort of a Christmas tradition with my family. We've always watched it. My sister especially.
Interesting.
Loves White Christmas. We've loved it since we were little kids, but my sister especially loves it because there's a song in the movies where they say sisters, and she loves singing that song. She loves singing sisters, and she knew the whole dance when she was little and stuff. And that sort of is indicative of what the film is about. I won't get too deep into what the film's about right now, but I will say it is an absolutely wholesome film from beginning to. There's one part that bothers me in the movie, but the rest of the film, I mean, it is a wholesome film. You could watch the movie and you're not worried about any sort of modern, postmodern ironic creepiness coming into the movie. It is completely
it's unadulterated by modern dispositions.
Yeah, it has no biting irony in the film. There's nothing really cynical in the movie, and it is a post-war. It functions as a kind of propaganda, World War II propaganda movie in post-war America, but it gets to a point where we get past that. We get this is when you think of the the show. I like to describe this by thinking of the show Seinfeld. The way that Seinfeld described the show was basically that, this will make sense in a second, that Seinfeld, the way they wanted their sitcom was basically that there was no internal drama like there is in Friends or any other sitcom. They wanted it to be the happy place so that even the bad things kind of go right in sitcom world.
Right.
And that's sort of what happens in White Christmas. It's a world that's Christmassy.
Yes.
And all of it is when you watch it as an adult, you know that this is a Hollywood production. It's all on sound stages and sets, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful film. And even the musical elements of the movie, I'm not really a fan of musicals. I'm sure people in the audience probably are not either. Maybe you are, but it actually has a purpose in this movie, and it functions as a kind of expression of joy in the movie. And so I think that's sort of the peak. I really think that the lowest point out of these four is actually the Grinch. I think that the Grinch, it's funny that we were talking about
I thought you would go with Jingle All the Way. I'm really surprised.
No.
So I thought you would have been very hypercritical of Jingle All the Way, which I actually, when we get into that movie specifically, I have a defense for it.
Yeah. I see. I think that Jingle All the Way is not. I'm not a fan of it. I don't like it.
I wouldn't suspect you are. Just knowing you, I didn't suspect you would have been.
Yeah, I really dislike the movie a lot. It doesn't make me feel any. Not that it's just feelings, but it lacks a lot of the substance that the other movies do in terms of its of a sort of Christmas spirit, and it becomes something that's totally monetized. I mean,
it's very consumeristic.
And like you talk about, I mean, it is really one of the keystone movies in the demasculinization of films. It's really pretty egregious.
Oh, interesting.
But the Grinch to me is absolutely ghoulish, and it is that on the surface, but it goes beyond that. I think that the Grinch is a depraved.
Shots fired. You're gonna upset so many people. And my poll, the Grinch is the best Christmas movie according to my audience right now. Yeah. It's far and away.
The Grinch is a depraved, macabre grotesque. It's a dance macabre of absolutely hallucinatory, hellish depravity. I can't tell you how much I hate this movie. And listen, in all, just to be honest here with the audience, I've never seen Jim Carrey's Grinch movie. We tried to watch last night. I sat down and I was like, I got to do this for research purposes. We watched 3 minutes of it and we cut it off. I could not watch it.
Really?
I could not watch it. And not only that, but I've always hated the Grinch. I don't like Dr. Seuss. I don't like nonsense tales. I don't like inversion and weird, wonky Lewis Carroll type universes. It's kind of disgusting to me. I never, when I was a kid and my parents wanted to read me Green Eggs and Ham, and I was like, why are the eggs green? Why is it? What's with the ham? What's up with this goo? I was a base child. I said, "What's up?" Listen, I was like Grinch, backbiter, broke back, deceiver, the devil. So I cannot stand the Grinch. I can't stand it. Which is funny because Bad Santa is a worse movie on the surface, but that doesn't purport to be anything else. That is on its surface, it's bad. It's a bad movie about a bank, about a safecracker and a guy just with no values who actually has some values. So listen, if you love the Grinch, good for you. I understand. I do understand it. And it is very popular now, especially amongst Gen Z and younger. And that's because of exactly what's in the movie, this sort of capitalized thing. Like if you can buy pajama bottoms with the Grinch on them, that sort of says it all. Nothing else will sell that, but the Grinch is it's also cross-racial and it's cross-cultural because it's a creature.
Yeah, and he's green. Yeah, exactly. Yes,
and he's green. So
although I didn't see any African Americans around the, Cindy Lou Who, all the townspeople.
Well, I noticed in those 3 minutes that Cindy Lou Who is the only one without a mutated face. All of the rest of them have these rat faces.
It's true.
Yeah, what's the deal?
Dude, come on. I would have suspected you had a little bit more stamina to get through more than 3 minutes of Jim Carrey's The Grinch. How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
No, I hate it. I see it as I'm not going to say what kind of propaganda. No, it's so bad, dude. I don't. Also, I did. We noticed that in Bill. Yeah. Well, look. in those 3 minutes, I also noticed that it's the opposite of the book, because in the book, well, actually, my wife noticed it in the book, the what are they called? The Who people, the
The Who
Whovillians,
people, yeah.
the Who people are not materialistic. Christmas is giving a holiday full of spirit. It's not, they're not going crazy over presents, and it's not presented. It's the total opposite in the film. And
Right.
that the
Fair
movie
enough.
starts off,
That is a good point. That is a good disparity between the film and the book.
and it also makes it so it's up to the child to critique the adults in the movie, which can be that there could be a way of making that more Christmas oriented, because after all, Christmas is about a little child. It's about the baby Jesus, and there could be a way of doing that. But in this, it's not. It's that the child notices that everyone is completely obsessed with gift giving, and also it begins with this cool. For the first thing he's doing is eating an onion in the movie. I mean, what are you doing?
That's the point, man. That he's repulsive.
So gross.
And that's where Cindy Lou Who, I mean, really the only wholesome takeaway, because I've seen Jim Carrey's Grinch. I've seen the cartoon version. I've never actually read the book. So you've got me there, BLA. So thank you, Bazed Lit Analyzer, for bringing the literary value of the Grinch to the table tonight. But, in the Jim Carrey version, it's Cindy Lou who sees the creature, the Grinch, the most repulsive individual, eating glass, obsessed with people's misery and making sure Christmas doesn't come to fruition. And she sees humanity, although, is he human? It's hard to actually tell, but she can see through the facade, and she actually makes him, the spokesperson, the ambassador of Christmas that season. And so I think it does have a wholesome takeaway. And if you actually had the gall to withstand the film and watch it to the end, he steals Christmas and then he gives Christmas back because of Cindy Lou Who and her bringing the Christmas spirit to him and recognizing, again, his humanity underneath it all. But even with all that, I will agree with you.
This is the Grinch is Grendel living inside the mountain, coming to terrorize Hrothgar. I mean, that's what it is. And it would be one thing if the village there were elements of the village that were rotten, but for the most part, Cindy is reflecting it's weird to me that the whole town is like that, and that she's the one person who remains uncorrupted, and that the Grinch's whole purpose is eating children. So again, I mean, this sort of works in a kind of medieval fairy tale style.
And that's something they leave out in the Jim Carrey movie. Right. They do not emphasize the Grinch as eating children.
They mention it at the beginning, though.
They do mention it. They do mention it, but
he eats children. Okay.
He lived, yeah.
So I'm like, I believe you. It's Jim Carrey playing it. I mean, it might be it's method acting. I don't know.
The way that I want to address all four movies on their own merit here, but the way that I perceived after watching all four in preparation for today's stream, I would argue that the archetypal Christian or Christmas movie obviously is White Christmas and then Jingle All the Way. And I'm going to make a defense of Jingle All the Way, although it's not my favorite Christmas movie. I know for some people it is. There's a couple people in the chat here that says Jingle All the Way is one of the best Christmas movies. I will grant you that Jingle All the Way is very consumeristic, right? It's about a toy. It's kind of like a Power Ranger type figure. And the father, Arnold Schwarzenegger, so busy with life, so busy with business, making money. It does kind of play upon the man who's more focused on money and success than the recognition of his own family. He's missing like his kids' new karate accomplishments and getting elevated to a new belt. But he's a masculine man. He comes to the rescue. He's intent on trying to provide the Christmas he wants. He does end up attempting to steal the toy from his neighbor's Christmas tree, which honestly, which is the actor who plays the neighbor?
Phil Hartman.
Phil Hartman. I knew it was Phil.
Yeah,
I forgot his
great.
last name, Hartman. I think he's the best character in that movie.
He's wonderful. Yeah,
Phil Hartman is the best character in that movie. I mean, he makes you want to hate him. You know, that slimy sort of sleazeball, like, you know, trying to get with Arnold's wife. But just like in Bad Santa, I think Thurman Merman, and I don't know the child's actor's name. I think he's the best. He's the best, in my opinion, the best character in Bad Santa. Phil Hartman, I think, is the best character in Jingle All the Way. But I would say in the mid 1990s, Arnold Schwarzenegger as a father ends up being the superhero that his son wants a doll of. It's kind of like a heroic father, you know, like your father comes to the rescue and you actually elevate the perception of your father in the end. Like, you know, the son gives away the toy to Sinbad for his son because he doesn't need the toy because his dad is the action figure.
Yeah, I think that Jingle All the Way is it. I mean, look, one reason I don't like the film is because it sort of came after me. I was 16 or something when the movie came out, and I wasn't really interested. I wasn't interested in Arnold Schwarzenegger at this point.
Turbo Man, that's the name of it. I couldn't remember the name of the action figure. Turbo Man.
Yeah, Turbo Man. This movie represents the final clean break between the 80s and the 90s, or the 80s and onward, with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And the reason for that is that we went from Red Heat, Terminator 2, Predator, True Lies sort of represents that, because True Lies is getting into sort of action comedy territory. But then we have movies like Junior, even Kindergarten Cop, where he's trying to play, you know, he's a comic role. But this movie sort of represents the final break between 80s masculinity and later on the real fall off of Arnold. I mean, this was the end. This was it. And one of the reasons is because with the comedic Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, where he's playing against type and he's playing a comic figure, even Junior or whatever, where he's a man woman giving birth. I mean, that's a grotesque thing, but this is much more subtle, and it represents the final fall, I think, of the Arnold hero. And that's you can argue against that. You could say, like you were saying, that he is a masculine protagonist in this, but the way that it's the subtle way that his family is kind of subverted because of his attention to his job, which is a very difficult thing to kind of fall off in a movie. And the way that
he's a salesman. He's kind of a sleazy salesman, right? At the beginning of the movie, "You're my best customer." Yeah. You know, he says it to his wife. So he's in the salesman move.
You know, I know that there are people, and I know people in real. I don't have children. We don't have children. So but I know, I don't feel like you have to be a father to understand that, you know, that when he is working his ass off, he misses his son's cry. It's bad that he misses his thing. I mean, look, I can say that, you know, I'm blessed with parents who never, ever missed my stuff. Like, they never missed events. They were never late to anything. It was idyllic that way. And I'm very lucky that way. But he's working his ass off to try to, you know, to afford the family that he does. And he gets home and his son completely blanks him in the room. And he's like, "Shut up, Dad. Silence from you." Yeah. You know, and I just thought, you know, your dad's doing the best he can, man. And how dare you talk to your father that way? My dad's a loser. You know, right. Get the fuck out of here. This is a very 90s thing that happened, and that has sort of arced its way all the way into now. At least he's not a completely absent father. At least he's there.
Right.
But it really does emasculate him for the rest of the movie. There are funny parts in the movie, and there are good parts. I really like the fact that I don't like Sinbad in this movie, but I like the fact Sinbad is in the movie.
You don't like him. You don't like him as a character in the movie, but you like the fact he's in the movie.
I do like the fact he's in the movie, because there's a great scene. There is a great scene, and this is where he does something that I do, which is that. Do you remember the scene where they're having the riot, like in the in the toy store.
Yes.
And the guy's like, we've got we don't have any Turbo Man, but we've got
whatever the enemy is.
Merman here for you. And he goes, and Sinbad's in the crowd, and he goes, we don't want it. We don't want it. And he's yelling, and he's going, yeah, kill him. And he starts the riot. And I thought that was it's very funny to yell things like that when you're not like the last thing, but to go, we don't want it. And then to kind of look around. And also you notice that when they're in the diner, they basically go to the same diners in the Big Lebowski, where he says, I can get you a tow. The Supreme Court is prior restraint. He's sitting in the diner, and the two of them are sitting next to each other. And you notice that Sinbad is bigger than Arnold. Did you notice that? He's huge. He's like six.
I didn't realize he was that big.
He's so, Norm, again, I got it. Shouts out to my hero, Norm, RIP. Norm went on tour with Sinbad. And he said he learned a lot from Sinbad's comedy. He said he would memorize his routine. He had it by rote, and he would go out and he would go do these jokes, and he went on tour with Sinbad. And right before they did the show that night, they went to the store, and Sinbad was like, I got to go in here and get some socks. So they go in, and he's like, you got any socks? And the lady was like, we don't have any socks. So that night when he went on stage, Norm did his whole routine. Nobody laughed. Sinbad goes on after him and goes, what's the matter with the town? They ain't got no socks. And everybody said, yeah, that's right. They ain't got no socks. And here he just killed it. And it was just the best. Had orange hair. So I like Sinbad. Sinbad also, by the way, filmed a movie here. He filmed it at my school where I went to school. It's called First Kid. It's a Disney movie. And that was filmed here. That actually has that Brock guy that is the libertarian crypto candidate for president. He was also in that pizza thing a few years ago. The creepy thing. Yeah. That guy plays the first kid in the movie, and Sinbad is the Secret Service agent in the movie. So I thought when I was a kid, two of my friends are extras in the movie. I thought that was pretty. I could see him in the background walking around. That's pretty cool. But other than that, I mean, it's like I did notice that the movie did Jingle All the Way did give us a bunch of stuff. It gave us Megamind. Did you notice he plays Megamind?
Yeah.
So he plays Megamind. There's no Megamind. He plays Megamind. He's got the brain and the thing. It also, I'm not sure if it predates Toy Story, but it certainly is Toy Story. It also is it is also a kind of proto Black Friday. Black Friday's been around for a long time. I think it came out of Philadelphia.
Jingle All the Way is 1 year after Toy Story. Toy Story is 1995. Jingle All the Way is 1996.
Okay, so the two. Wait, what was 95?
95 is Toy Story. 96 is Jingle All the Way.
Okay, so it comes after, and it's sort of same world, but it's certainly a proto Black Friday. The Black Friday, but people that are young don't really understand that. But Black Friday was not a named shopping holiday for all this time. It sort of came around in the early 2000s, especially post 9/11 world. It was not a thing that people called Black Friday or that they had as an event. Right. And this movie
not like today it is. Absolutely.
Yeah. And this movie sort of typifies it. But I think that it's certainly, the movie also is important because it really did give us the dumbass dad. And this is something that
he does have a heroic arc though.
He does.
Here's my bullet points and maybe we'll go over them, but for Jingle All the Way, the father is absent, overworked, and ashamed because he's aware of his absentee. That's where, the beginning, he gets pulled over. He's rushing. He's aware that he's not fully present in his family's life. Love is measured by performance and acquisition. That's where the son's upset and, he needs to have this toy. Masculinity is anxious, frantic, and externally validated at first. Right. To the point where you're talking about the scene in the bedroom, and he's totally sort of admonishing and demeaning his father. And then meaning is outsourced to objects. It's a very consumeristic film. I mean, the whole premise is that to make your son happy, you got to get Turbo Man. And Turbo Man's the hottest gift, and all the kids are going to get it. And his neighbor, who's divorced, has already got it for his son and is already bragging about it's only the hottest gift ever. And then the last point is that parents are crushed by the economic pressure. The masculine father has a heroic journey from absentee to doing anything to provide the Christmas experience for his son. He actually then rescues his son from Sinbad, and catches him while he falls after, escaping the grasp of Megamind. And then identity, though, is reduced to roles and optics. Because even in the validation of Arnold Schwarzenegger as the heroic father, it's only because of the role of him playing Turbo Man, right? So Turbo Man still supersedes Arnold as father and masculine hero. And it's only because he assumes the role of Turbo Man that he's able to reacquire that identity from his son. So I basically agree with you, although I'm not so hard on Jingle All the Way. It does have, the ultimate takeaway is that, he has a submissive wife. He has a devout wife. She's not interested in Phil, the neighbor. But she wishes he was more present. She wishes he was more active in the life of her and the boy, his son.
When she says, she's like, oh, maybe you'll catch us later or something. Hey, Phil Hartman, you want to go out for a ride or whatever? I thought that was pretty wild. I mean, I get it I'm being pretty harsh on the movie, like you said, but
you are. I knew. No. I expected
listen,
today.
Just
knowing you, I expected White Christmas and Bad Santa, which are like diametrically opposed films, would be your favorite, and Jingle All the Way and the Grinch. I knew that Jingle All the Way. I didn't. We talked briefly that neither one of us are big Grinch fans, but I just had in my expectations that he's going to totally destroy Jingle All the Way.
Yeah, but listen, when he gets home and Phil Hartman is on the roof putting Christmas lights up, and he's like, somebody had to do it. I'm like, this guy's getting Swiss cheesed so fast. Can you believe on the roof of that? No, dude. There's no way. Get the fuck out of here. There's no, because it's not like in Christmas Vacation, right? Where you get the dumbass dad on the roof and he's trying to put the stuff together and the family's watching when he's a loser. Which
is my favorite Christmas movie.
There's a sense of whimsy, and all Clark wants to do is bring the family together in that.
Right.
He's all about family.
And when we reviewed it, we highlighted he's a worker, he provides, he loves his kids, he loves his wife, and that's the whole premise is, he's a goofball. It's kind of the Homer Simpson archetype, but he actually is a good dad.
He is. And he's also masculine. I mean, and his wife loves him. She thinks he's like the sexiest guy in the world. And yet he's a family man. He's a pretty wholesome guy. I mean, the scene where he takes Ross to the mall, right? And the girl's showing off the underwear is that's very dad. You
don't even see the lines, do you, Russ?
That's awesome. But hold on, I did take some notes. I never take notes on movies, but I did write almost some scraps of paper. This book I'm reading, The MK Ultra Secret. That's where I took my Christmas notes.
You're pulling out an MK Ultra book to talk about Jingle All the Way.
Yeah, I wrote Consumer Frenzy, Fractured Fairy Tale.
Yeah,
it's at the expense of secret. There's secret lust in the movie. Something about secret lust. Presence of objects, restoration of the father figure. There is a restoration of the father figure at the end, which is great. And the fact that he ends up playing that he is the superhero. It was also weird because it was very Iron Man. I mean, Iron Man predates this, but the way they filmed it was very much. It wouldn't surprise me if they used stock footage in Iron Man from Jingle All the Way, of all places.
Yeah.
And also, again, humiliated masculinity, which occurs in this throughout. And it's one thing we often, or especially you often talk about the subversion of masculine roles, especially in entertainment. I mean, 90s sitcoms and films really run on this. This is their currency. But even in something like, Tool Time, right? Home Improvement, right? Even that dude who is in the Santa Claus, Tim Allen is playing a based home guy who is learns literally becomes Santa Claus.
Right.
In this one, we have Arnold Schwarzenegger, who is the paragon of masculinity, especially in American global culture.
Right.
And who is a cool, he's trying to be a cool dad, but the one thing that I hate is when he walks into the room, he tries so hard to relate to his son, and he puts on the little karate headband and he does the thing, and his son rolls his eyes and walks away. And that would be what the young kids now say about cringe,
cringe.
And but it's so hurtful because he's going about it. I don't know how you're supposed to go about it, but he definitely doesn't go about it the right way. And he's trying to relate to his son on the same level, and they're not on the same level. Right. He is he's the dad who's been working, and at the end of the day, it's like, look, man, the action figures will come and go, but it's just a fucking action figure. You're gonna forget it in 6 months, and the kid doesn't know that. But it all becomes centered on this physical object, on this action figure. And I know it's a metaphor. It's a metaphor for capitalism and for hyper capitalism and shortages at Christmas time, which seem to be a whole other thing. A sort of
remember. Do you remember the Tickle Me Elmo phenomenon?
Oh yeah,
that was like a huge Christmas present. The Tickle Me Elmo. It reminds me of the Turbo Man, right? That everybody is like frantic to get the Tickle Me Elmo.
Yeah. This seems to be. I mean, I'm not trying to be conspiratorial here, but it seems to be like some sort of
everybody put your tinfoil hat on.
Yeah, this is a like some sort of programmed aesthetic terrorism, right? Like J. Vance Mattel and Mark Smucker are sitting around going, "What if we give them the present and then we take it away at the last minute?" Right? All these dumbass people are trying to go to Walmart fighting each other for a Turbo Man. I mean, come on, man. Oh, by the way, you notice that the kid who plays his son is Jake Lloyd. He's Anakin Skywalker.
I did pick up on that.
I thought I would throw that in. He's the first Anakin. Yeah.
So
hey, a trivia quiz to the audience. Right. Let's see how well you know this stuff.
Out there. Let's see.
All right,
Jake. You guys got to send a super chat over on BLA's chat to answer it.
Jake Lloyd plays the first Anakin. But who plays the first Padme that we see? Queen Amidala.
Oh my!
What actress plays the first Padme?
What does this have to do with Christmas?
It's Star Wars. I don't know.
Damn nerd. Get your Star Wars crap out of here. We're talking about Christmas.
I mean, I don't know. But I think of these movies naturally make you. Keira Knightley, Real John Connor got it. Keira Knightley is the first Amidala. That's very good. Yeah, most think it's Natalie Portman. It's actually
the real Knightley. John Connor would be the one to get it. He would.
Yeah, you're the
Mojo got it after him. Maybe he was copying him.
Job, you guys.
The real John Connor was the first to actually answer.
Nice. That's very good. Very good. We got some movie nerds in the audience, but these movies make you whimsical and nostalgic. At least they do for me. And I think about what we covered Citizen Kane. One of the things in Citizen Kane, you remember, was that the whole story of Citizen Kane was based around him and Rosebud, and Rosebud ends up being the memory of the sled that he got for Christmas.
Right.
And I think that probably says more than any of these movies do about memory and Christmas and about the importance of what toys really represent. I mean, I know that parents want to provide their children with they want to make them happy. They want to make them happy at Christmas. But when you get older, I think it's important to keep in mind what these things really represent. And, they like the closest thing I can relate to with this, just a personal thing here, is that when I think of Christmas, I think of, I'm about to go back down to Mississippi for Christmas. I always go down, see my family. And we've been doing that my whole life. And when I was a kid, we would go down to see my grandparents, and Christmas morning with my grandparents was like everything that this kid Jake wants. Like anything I wanted, they gave me.
Mm-hmm.
I was very lucky that way. But but
you're a
that's
spoiled brat, basically.
I was a spoiled brat, bad boy. Don't want it, don't appreciate it. No, but it's the fact that I knew this at the time that like I got like there was one Christmas when I got like a Sony a Watchman, which was like a TV that you could carry around with an antenna on it, and I thought this is so fucking cool. Excuse my language. I thought this was so cool, but
gosh, when did you enter the Navy, man?
but I knew at the time that this thing isn't really that great. I mean, you got to watch it. It's black and white, and you can watch 4 channels like wherever you want. But it was really the fact that like I got up and that like my grandparents gave it to me. That they went out and got this stuff, and that I was in the warmth of my entire family being together with all my cousins and stuff. So, I don't see that in any of these films.
Well, I want to catch up because the chat has so many things to say. So let me just catch up a little bit because I want to get into White Christmas, because what I was going to say is the general demarcation that I have regarding these 4 films. White Christmas, I would say, is almost the standard of a Christmas movie. There's really very little I have to criticize of White Christmas. Jingle All the Way is very much a sort of late 20th century American consumeristic take on what I guess would be a wholesome Christmas movie with a heroic father. And then you have Bad Santa and the Grinch, which are sort of like, especially Bad Santa is almost an anti-Christmas Christmas movie. And then you have an anti-hero in the Grinch of that whole series. And so I almost demarcate them as those 4 films. You can separate the 2 on each side of the ledger there. But I want to get into the White Christmas, and then I know you have so much to say about Bad Santa. So before we do that, Jason, been a Total Crew member for 4 months, says tag team back again. We are back again. Pretend BLA's black. We're like that Arnold hand with the black guy. That's like us.
I'm Sinbad. I'm Sinbad, and you're
I'm Arnold.
Yeah.
Again, check it's a wreck. Now let's begin. Party on party, people. Let me hear some noise. DPH and BLA in the house. Jump, jump, rejoice. Thank you very much, Jason. Really appreciate that. BLA, I got to say, brother, I appreciate your friendship, man. Legitimately. It's Christmas time. We have to have a little wholesomeness in the show here. And so God bless you and Catherine and the new journey that you guys are on together. Really, really happy for you, man. I appreciate your friendship, and I love doing streams with you.
Yeah, you all right. Anyway, let's get to know. Thanks, buddy.
There's the Sinbad. Josiah Elleron says, I'm a Christmas movie fanatic. And Wicked Wally, he has a fair point here. We all know the truth. A Garfield Christmas isn't on the poll because it wouldn't be fair.
What about Smurfs Christmas?
We need to do we should add Garfield Christmas next year. And what is it? The Bishop's Wife?
Well, we're gonna have to do the Polar Express with Thomas Hanks.
Oh my God. And Santa Claus.
I've never seen it. I've never seen the Polar Express. I'm sorry.
It's the other one I've never got into. I do not know how Polar Express is so popular.
Well, by the way, there is a segue here from Jingle All the Way to Polar Express because the wife is Rita Wilson. That's Thomas Hanks's wife, Arnie's wife in Jingle All the Way.
Fair enough.
Well, there you go.
Fair enough.
I've never seen Polar Express either.
Just out of respect for my friend Wicked Wally, I think we'll have to do Garfield next year.
Okay.
Biggest nub in town throws in 5, says, I didn't like them noses as a child, and as a noticer, now it makes sense. God bless Dr. DPH and BLA. Blessed nativity, all. Thank you very much. Biggest nub in town. And then Josiah Elleron throws in another 10, says, my heart is full. I have been running a towel or 2. I've been running to drive for kids at hospital for 2 months, 17th year. WWE delivered 2,100 toys today. Wow.
That's sick, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah. God bless the WWE for doing something actually wholesome. That's great. We all know that, you don't need to say wrestling is fake. We understand it's sports entertainment, But I will say that's one of the enterprise that isn't so much subverted by like LGBTQ, all the progressive nonsense. I mean, you can't watch an NFL game without like pride flags somewhere during the game itself.
Yeah.
But the WWE, ironically, is kind of held itself out a little bit better than some of these other professional sports leagues. I would say the NHL is really the only one in comparison to WWE, and that's because they have so many Russians that are Orthodox Christian. They refuse to wear gay pride stuff, and so the NHL had to actually stop doing it. Nathan Slippy said for 5, I grew up on the cartoon. I voted for the Grinch. I lived so sheltered that when I saw Carrie's version in high school, it was like a horror movie.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. I mean, because it was 2004. It was part of the War on Terror, which translated into the films at the time. And it was like, The Grinch is a Ron Howard film of all things, which is crazy. And it's totally frenetic from start to finish. And it capitalizes, that's the pun, it capitalizes on this kind of hyper color, postmodern frenetic energy it's not a stretch to say that the age of the War on Terror sort of gave us an accelerated pace in terms of art and entertainment. And this is one of those films.
Josiah just corrected me. I actually met Josiah at the Athens and Jerusalem conference this year. So I know Josiah. And he said, oh no, I mistyped. I was saying we delivered 2,100 today. Well,
that's pretty cool.
That's incredible, Josiah. God bless you, brother. That's an amazing work for this time of the year. You know what? I actually had a conflicted moment.
The kids were disappointed because it wasn't the WWE.
No. Well, it reminded me just in regards to like charity acts because it's Christmas season. So Jenny and I were just asked this week to be godparents for 2 kids that are going to be baptized this Sunday. So then we're scrambling to get crosses, icons, all the stuff you give someone when they're going to be baptized. A little bit short notice. So we run up to the largest Orthodox bookstore here in Indiana, which is in downtown Indianapolis. And we get there, we get all the stuff, we find all the stuff that we need. Jenny gets all the stuff that kind of excites her. We get some Christmas ornaments. They had Christmas decorations there. And when we leave, we go down to grab something to eat because we hadn't eaten all day. It's like 3:00 in the afternoon, and we go over to Five Guys. And while we're parking, we see a homeless guy. And in Indiana today, at least around the central Indiana area, it was rainy. It was rained all day. It was wet. It was gloomy. It was like 50 degrees and windy. So it's not, all the snow's melted now. And we see this homeless guy out there in a trash bag with all his stuff scattered around. And we were like, oh, Jenny's like, maybe we should go give him one of these little icon cards that we just bought. And I thought about it. I was like, for a second, that might be a good idea. And then I look at him. He looks like he's high. And this is a white guy. And he's like sitting there going like this. And you can tell someone just bought him a pizza, which he ate a few slices of. And then he just has it laying on the ground in the rain. And I was like, maybe we shouldn't waste one of the icon cards. I don't know if he would appreciate it. And I felt a little convicted inside. Is like, should we help the homeless man? But then based on my rational observation, it's like, I don't even know if he's in the right mind to even understand if we went to go give him an icon of Christ for Christmas, like he would even understand it. Yeah. So we ended up not doing it.
Maybe that would make him appreciate it.
Are you trying to make me feel guilty right now, BLA? Is that what you're trying to do?
No, it's like when boomer, there's no comparison, but when boomers are like, I'm not giving that guy any money. I'm going to give him some McNuggets because he's going to waste it on crack. Right. And they give him some McNuggets. And the guy's like, thanks. I just say, I appreciate it, or doesn't eat the McNuggets. It's like, I just kind of think, I don't know. Yeah, of course he was high. It's Christmas, man. He was on something. He was.
What are you, a Scrooge?
He was tripping off that Waukesha, man, and you were, he had that pizza down there. No, I don't know.
Yeah. Anyways, that's totally tangential, but hearing Josiah Elleron's actual charity and effort to bring Christmas to children this year made me reflect on my opportunity today. And I don't know if I missed an opportunity or I made the right decision, because we want to pass these things out to people. You know, we bought a bunch of these. They're like almost credit card like things, but they have an icon and then they have a description of it on the back. And Jeannie's like, oh, maybe we should give one to him. And I'm looking at him with his eyes like rolling back, going like this in the rain. With clearly people have given him like food. They went and bought and gave it to him, and he's got it out. And I'm like, oh, I don't know, baby.
I'm not. Listen, I'll tell you a war story. You know, I'm not trying to show how generous I am here, but one time I gave a homeless bum $50. I gave this homeless bum $50.
Yeah, not to virtue signal or anything, guys. Don't worry.
You know what he did? He looked at it and he said, "What the fuck is this?" And he threw it. He threw it on the ground and kept walking. And I was like, all right. So I went back and
picked it up.
Picked up that $50, and then I went and got some lean for myself. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go eat a pizza. No.
Fair enough.
Yeah. No, but they do good work. And, you know, and I will give a shout out to, you know, you sent me a thing earlier about a famous guy that I know who is doing good work and does this with hospitals. He does work with hospitals all the time and with kids. And that's Travion Henderson, who is hopefully going to go to the Super Bowl.
No, give him a shout out. He actually deserves it. For those who don't know, not everybody watching this actually follows sports and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Explain who Travion Henderson is.
Well, Travion Henderson is a kid that is a sort of a hometown hero here. And I taught. Yeah, in Virginia, and
for people watching. Yeah,
he comes from here. He comes from my town, and I taught his older brother and his younger brother, and he was not in the advanced class I taught, but he went on. I knew him very well, and he's always around here, and he was the number one high school running back, Sports Illustrated running back in the country. Got a full ride to every school you could possibly get, and chose Ohio State. Went to Ohio State. He was he was a record-setting running back his freshman year at Ohio State. High scorer. He became the captain of Ohio State. They won the national. They had a Cinderella season here. They won the state championship. Then his final game I saw him play here was a state championship, winner. Then he went to Ohio State. He won the college championship. He was the guy who was holding the trophy when he handed it to JD Vance. JD Vance dropped it. Then he went on to get to be in a second round draft pick for New England Patriots. And now he plays for the Patriots, and he's scoring like crazy. And hopefully he's going to go on to, he will be in the Super Bowl. He will be a Super Bowl champion. He'll be in the Hall of Fame. And shout out to him, because he's one of these kids that really did make it.
Right.
And he comes back here to talk to kids at church all the time. He does charities. He supports
his family. That's what I was
family.
going to add, is that in addition to being literally one of the top echelon athletes and a running back in the NFL, rookie this year, is I only know of Travion Henderson through BLA. So BLA told me about Travion Henderson when he was being recruited, or essentially becomes the Ohio State running back. So he talked to me after this state championship, and he's like, man, he was talking about the kids that he's graduated and that he's taught. And so I kept my eye out, and I knew of Travion Henderson, watched his year at Ohio State. And then what I would say is that he is a good Christian guy. Now, you may not be, or I know people are, into the apology. He's not orthodox, but his actions, what he does, what he talks about, how he gives credit to God and Christ for so many things. Yeah. I actually root for him, and I'm from Indiana, and we hate the Patriots.
He's very sincere. He's very sincere and very true. He founded a foundation, an organization for Christian athletes in college. He had a whole thing about he's the one who got, he got a bunch of people baptized on the Ohio State team.
Right.
I think he just got, I knew he was engaged, but I didn't know he got married. I think he just got married. And he's got a new shoe line, and they asked him about the shoe line. Remember when we talked about Lil Nas X years ago?
Yeah.
Lil Nas X had the blood on it. He's like, oh, that's the blood of Satan. It's my blood. Well, this is the opposite of that. So they said, what's this red on the bottom of the shoe? And he said, well, that's to symbolize the sacrifice of my Lord Jesus Christ, the King of the universe, who gave his, who gave himself for the sins of the whole world. And it's to honor all of the persecuted Christians in the world, especially in Nigeria and everywhere. And our God is a gracious God. The praise be to God.
Right.
So, you can't get much better than that.
Right.
And he's real and sincere. So I hope he goes very, very far. He's going to be a good family man, and he's a very, very hardworking. And people are here's what I'll say: people are extremely, and they should be. People are extremely cynical and extremely negative about celebrities of all kinds, especially sports figures. And rightly so. I mean, we've seen this kind of over and over. But here's an example of somebody I can attest to personally who is a true and real and is the real deal and is using what he has for good. And he even said that. I saw him say in an article recently. He said, I've got this position that God has put me
I thought he said it, I had this great English teacher.
That's what he said. Yeah, that's what he said. He said, "This one's for you. This one's for you, big dog." Right, and then oh yeah, oh, not that one. No, yeah, that's what he did.
For you, BLA.
Yeah. This one's my number's 88. All right, so no, he threw the football to himself and he caught it, and then he said, "That one's for you, big dog." I don't know. No, he did. Oh boy.
All right, let's get back to the topic here.
Let's get back to it.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for the $10. He says, "Thank you for this stream. I'm visiting my family for Western Christmas, and I'm trapped in my parents' basement reading their horrible books. Much needed." Well, hey, if this is any alleviation to the prison you feel like you're in, we are more than humble and appreciate you being here. So God bless you, brother. Thanks for the support.
Yeah,
Willie Jenkins throws in $2 and says, "Bad Santa for the award." So again, we're getting ready to dive into Bad Santa. I just wanted to catch up so everybody knows that, we see your guys' comments, and we want to keep you guys engaged in the stream. Thank you so much, Josiah Elleron. God bless you, brother. Thank you for the 5 gifted super chats. Really appreciate it. Clontarf, a fan of both of ours. I've actually met Clontarf. He came to my church one time. God bless you, brother. Hope the family's doing well. He says, "DPH, I'd like to hear your and Dangerfield's most underrated Christmas movie." I go with Scrooged. Most underrated Christmas. I'll let you go first because I bet you already have one on the top of your mind. Jingle All the Way.
Yeah. No, I think we already discussed it last year, but I think, and it's not an underrated movie, but it is an underrated Christmas. It's now getting traction as in reels and stuff. People talking about it as a Christmas movie, but Home Alone really is probably the best Christmas movie. I mean, it is a Christian movie.
Which one?
Home Alone.
Oh, Home Alone. Yeah.
Yeah. I think came to that conclusion.
Home Alone is the echelon of Christmas movies.
Yeah. I don't know. There's one that I really like, and it's called The Night Before, and it's got it's just a Christmas story, but it's got Michael Shannon in it. Michael Shannon plays the ghost of Christmas past, and he's a weed dealer, and there's a great part in it that I really like, and it actually deals with football, and he corrects the guy and says, "Don't blaspheme in my taxi cab," and I really like that one as a Christmas movie. I'm not sure. I'm not really a big fan of Scrooge, but I think that one's another one that's kind of gone by the wayside, but I appreciate that you like that one. I don't know. What about you? What do you think?
It's hard for me to say what's underrated. In regards to underrated for millennials and Gen Z, I would assume it'd have to be one of these older Christmas movies. I think it could be White Christmas. I mean, how many people our age actually watch that each year?
Yeah.
I would say it's probably underrated in the sense it's not as popular as it should be. It's a great film. Now, it is a musical, so if you're not into that, you may not like that. But if not, It's a Wonderful Life. I mean, how many people our age watch It's a Wonderful Life? It is on TV quite a bit. And obviously, I'm a little bit biased to The Christmas Story just because it takes place in Indiana, even though technically it was filmed in like Cleveland, Ohio. It's supposed to take place in Indiana. And my wife, she's never latched on to the Christmas Story. I think you almost have to be American or something, because there's not a whole, it's kind of dry movie as it goes forward. We actually already reviewed almost all the movies we already talked about. BLA and I have already discussed before. But you really can't say the Christmas Story is underrated, because was it TNT or TBS? They do it like a 24-hour series, so you can't say it's underrated.
It's a classic. I think it's overrated. I think it could.
Even though I'm fond of it, just because it's here in Indiana. I mean, it's a classic, but it's like Hoosiers or Rudy. But you easily could make the claim it's overrated. In regards to underrated, the only thing that immediately pops in my mind is something that's more classic or older, because a lot of the younger people just don't watch that stuff. And I would highly recommend. I mean, one of the things that my wife and I, we do love older movies just because they're so wholesome. There's nothing subversive in them. And the meaning is very transparent, that you can pick up on it as the dialogue goes, the plot unfolds. So
I think I got an answer. I think that the most underrated Christmas movie is probably, you want a wholesome movie, is probably Swiss Family Robinson. Swiss Family Robinson is, it's not a Christmas movie, but it has a great Christmas scene in it. And it's where I first heard the song, "Oh Christmas Tree." And it's probably the most wholesome movie that you could possibly find. And I saw it when I was a kid, around Christmas time on the Disney Sunday night movie. And it's a live action movie, and it's from the 50s, early 60s from the Disney studio. And it's about a Swiss family named Robinson that goes to New Guinea, and they end up on a desert island, and they have to fight pirates, and they basically form their own island, and they live and they work together as a family. And it's such an awesome movie. It's like a great movie for a young boy because it's about adventure and stuff, but it's also a great movie for a family, and it's especially great for Christmas. So I would really recommend that. Or I would recommend the movie Heidi, since we're talking about classic wholesome movies here. The movie Heidi, with Shirley Temple in black and white, is a Christmas movie, and it has the gruff grandfather who lives on the mountain like the Grinch, but he ends up being a based grandfather who saves his granddaughter. And he looks like Santa Claus. It's really classic.
We've already covered Miracle on 34th Street, right?
Yeah, we didn't cover that.
We have not covered that one.
Mm-mm.
That has to be next year. That is a classic Christmas film. Whether you watch the old one or was it 1994 or something?
Or the 70s version, Across 110th Street. That's the Harlem version. Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll cover Miracle on 34th.
Cover your ears, people. BLA's getting ready to sing a tune. Rough Hand says, glad to see my fellow nerds give us a duo stream before Christmas. Every year, I feel like we're almost obligated. And BLA, he hit me up, was like, what are we doing for Christmas this year? And I was like, dude, what movies have we not done? So these are 4 that we haven't. Thomas Frozen 5 says, The Grinch is one of those so bad it's good movie. But I do agree with that making the Who's materialistic and in need of correction was a bad call.
Yeah.
This over on your channel, Ghost throws in 5, says, would you consider Citizen Kane a Scrooge-like story? The story of Scrooge, but was never visited by Marley and the spirits.
Yes, absolutely. That's a good call.
Absolutely.
I mean, Citizen Kane is Scrooge McDuck. Yeah, we have.
Yeah, we've already done that one.
Yeah, he's Scrooge. And we did A Christmas Carol. We covered this Charles Dickens story as part of that stream 2 or 3 years ago when we did. But yeah, absolutely. And never visited by Marley and the spirits. Well, he is visited by the spirits of his past, and that's part of the entire story. So yeah, I think that definitely plays into it. I would consider it a Scrooge-like story. I mean, except for the fact that he doesn't make good at the end. He only sort of reconciles himself with his past rather than with a family or with the spirit of giving. So it's a little bit more emblematic of modernity and sort of fractured brokenness and the emptiness of wealth rather than what the whole purpose of A Christmas Carol was.
Right. Josiah throws in another 10. Thank you so much, Josiah. The first time I had cancer, God glory to God that you don't have that anymore. I wrote an eviction notice for cancer. I knew I could not control what it did to my body, but I can control what it does with my soul. It changed my life. Well, right there, that's a wholesome Christmas message right there. Thank you so much, Josiah. God bless you, brother. Really appreciate the support. And Gorilla Biscuit throws in 5, says, just got paid, have some money. God bless, sir. Great stream as usual. W, Dr. Biceps. There we go. Doc, I am Arnold. I am Turbo Man. BLA, you make me happy. Now, is that like massage type happy, or
you
what do you guys mean?
You make me happy. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
All right. So now we're all caught up here. Okay.
Next.
Let's get into the Christmas story, or I mean, take 2.
White Christmas.
White Christmas. Yes. White Christmas, and discuss that one specifically. I would imagine many of the Gen Zers have never watched that. Many of the Gen Zers or Gen Alpha that's watching this stream right now, they probably have not watched White Christmas. How would you introduce it to somebody who hasn't watched it?
I would say that one of the things that young people are yearning for is something pure. And that goes for what they seek in terms of religion, what they want in terms of family, what they want in terms of, their jobs. They want something pure. And I think that this movie is about as close as you can get to that in terms of entertainment. Young people wouldn't have seen the movie because they don't watch movies, and for good reason. I mean, there's nothing good in Hollywood right now. Everything's sort of broken and dead, and everything is one thing about this movie is everything that you watch now is on a small screen and looks gray. Everything is gray and a gray box, and it's broken. And White Christmas is the opposite of that. This is old time Hollywood. It's completely technicolor and it's vivid. And this really represents a thing in America that is sort of gone. I think that we have the best of what this movie represents when you're with your family or when you're with your friends, but it really is a wholeness and a sense of some of the best aspects of Christmas, giving, service, and it's not a musical in the sense that other films are. I mean, I think that musicals exist basically because musicals are supposed to be emblematic of they sort of represent they kind of are an extension in a secular entertainment sense of why you sing in church. When you sing in church, you sing as an exaltation of the Spirit. You're sing, the throne of God is surrounded by angels who sing holy, holy, holy Lord all the time forever. Yeah. Because it's more than words can say. It's an extension of the Spirit. You are exalting, and this, musicals are supposed to be like that. They're supposed to be this kind of dream world where people sing because they can't speak anymore. And White Christmas is different than musicals because the characters in it are playing actors. So they are actors putting on a production within a production. And that makes it different from the average kind of fey musical. So the story really is about 2 characters played by Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye. Bing Crosby is classic Christmas. This is Monokaliki Maka, right? I mean, this is Jingle Bells, White Christmas. It's 50s right. Christmas,
Right.
And and he and Danny Kaye are in the war. It's set in World War II.
It begins in World War II.
Yeah. And they are putting on, the movie begins in Media Res with them putting on a show for their general in charge who was like leaving.
He's being pulled from the battlefield. He's going to be replaced by a new general. And the soldiers love him. They're willing to fight and die for him. And the platoon is being moved to the front line. So when they're getting ready to experience actual battle, the general that they love is being taken from them.
And it's not only it's not something fantastical that you have 2 characters who are soldiers who are singing and like they're singing in the war. It's that these are USO guys. They are entertainers. So they're supposed to increase the morale for the company. they're already singers, and so they're putting on a show for the soldiers. And then they get attacked in the middle of it in an artillery barrage, and they start blasting the town. But they sort of keep basically it shows that it's kind of like this is the best of what we have to give this guy. And even though they're being blasted, they're still sort of singing for this guy. And they say, because we love him, we love him. And yeah, it's very Hollywood musical. It's not supposed to be action. It's on a soundstage. But the point is they survive. And the two guys go back to the real world. And Bing Crosby saves Danny Kaye at the beginning of it. Danny Kaye saved
Bing Crosby.
Yeah. And so for the rest of the movie, he's like, oh, my arm, what about that? And so he basically blags his way into a kind of contract with Bing Crosby, who's a famous guy back home. And they become a touring company, and they become famous. So Danny Kaye becomes famous like Bing Crosby already is. So when they're back in America, they start touring and they're doing all this stuff. And then they meet these two girls, one of whom is played by Rosemary Clooney, who's the aunt of George Clooney in real life. That's one of the girls. And so
which one is
Danny? She's not the blonde girl. She's the girl that they're trying to set up with Bing Crosby.
Oh, okay.
So that's anyways, George Clooney's aunt. So Rosemary Clooney. So Danny Kaye and the blonde girl say, let's set up these two girls. Would you sing for your homie? I pour one out for my homie all the time. The other day I was smoking on that Rob Reiner pack, poured one out for my homie. In that gangster lean. Yeah. I miss my Uncle Charles. So they're trying to set these two up. And because he's like, look, Bing Crosby, you're kind of an old fucking whiskey drinking, you're pretty old, dude. You need to, he says to him, I want you to get with this woman and make 8 babies. Okay, that's wholesome. So the rest of the movie is basically trying to set them up, and and they go through some shenanigans, and then they discover at the end of the film, basically when they end up in Vermont, that this hotel they end up in Vermont, where they're going to put on this show, is actually owned by the general from back in Europe, and he's about to basically, he's like going to sell the place or wherever he's going broke.
He's going.
So then so they have this. They have this kind of PR call, and they call all the old fellas back to come and watch the show, and they put on a giant show for them. And really the only conflict in the movie comes when they're trying to say, like, somebody tries to screw him over to say that, like, oh no, he's just doing this for the contracts, for the PR. He's going to get money out of it. He's a grifter. And he's like, I'm not grifting at all. In fact, I'm getting nothing out of this. We just want to show this dude how much we love him, because the general is supposed to be a kind of, he's not only a father figure, but he's supposed to represent the best of America, the best of men, the best of
yeah, exactly.
And
in a way he is.
He is.
In a way he is. And that's where the story has sentimental value, is because the way that the general is presented is that he is a man of honor. He is a man that earns respect from the soldiers that fought underneath him. And to see that he now owns a ski resort in Vermont. And when they get to Vermont, because they thought this is where the sisters, they had a show there in Vermont, and the two guys, they had a show in New York. Well, because they're constantly trying to get Bing Crosby, they come up with a hodgepodge plan so that the guys follow them to Vermont. And when they get there, there's no snow. And this is the whole theme of White Christmas, right? On Christmas Eve, when they give this celebration to the general, it actually begins to snow and everybody comes back to Vermont. And so this ski resort, this lodge that the general has, nobody's there. There's no snow. Therefore nobody's skiing. And you then see this man, a general, highly respected from his soldiers, running a sort of ski resort lodge there in Vermont. Nobody's there. He's going bankrupt. He's losing everything. And his last wish is basically, I'm just going to re-enlist. I'm just going to go back to the military. I'd rather die as a general than die financially as a man who failed to create some ski lodge there in Vermont. And so the attempt then is that the Army rejects him. They don't need a 50 or 60-year-old man to re-enlist in the military.
And they put him out to pasture.
So what Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye do is that they set up this essentially a celebration of the general and bring back as many soldiers that fought under him as possible, so that he would then, at least for him, be viewed by the other people as the general again. Because part of the running theme when they're at the resort there is that nobody actually sees the general as the general except the two guys that fought underneath him. They see him as, a guy who's carrying wood and getting the mail and runs this resort, this failed resort. And so by getting all these men back, the general regains his dignity, regains his identity. And of course, it snows, so his business isn't going to go bankrupt. But it's because he's viewed by the people that respect him the most, the soldiers that fought underneath him. And that's the climax of the movie right at the end.
Yeah, he's also he's not soft, even in the beginning of the movie when they're singing the song to him or whatever, he calls him to attention and he goes up and he's like a sorry looking bunch of, it's an American movie, so it's gonna be like, you sorry looking bunch of ragtag shenanigans here, but I do love you, and he seems like a gruff guy, but he's got a twinkle in his eye, and he loves it. At the end of the movie in Vermont, he's got this. By the way, it's like the greatest hotel of all time. This world is completely dead. This world is totally dead. You go there now, and it's like a hole in the ground with a Howard Johnson sign rotting away and slimy. This was a world that just doesn't exist.
Probably a blue-haired receptionist.
Yeah, yeah, and it's he's just sweet and like you said, there's no snow. They end up putting on this beautiful show, and then it ends up being a perfect white Christmas full of purity. It's a pure, it's a pure, wholesome, warm, cozy world where the movie is very aware that the family is watching the movie together, and it's a classic. Shouts out to Rachel there, who's gifting me. Hey,
wow, dude! She just gifted 10 10 BLA memberships over on your channel, man.
Shouts out to Rachel.
Shout out to Rachel Wilson.
Based homeschool mom. She's thank you so much, Rachel. Really appreciate that. I will say one other thing in the movie that I really appreciate is actually, and this is might be of specific or esoteric within the film. You really have to watch the film to notice this, but there is a routine. There's one of the songs that they're choreographing. It is called "It's Not Dance, It's Choreography," and this is actually pretty adept in the movie because Danny Kaye, the movie is really run on Bing Crosby's charm. Bing Crosby's the singer. Bing Crosby is charm, and he's the kind of half of this entertainment group. But it's Danny Kaye who really carries the movie. Danny Kaye was also in Wizard of Oz. He's kind of an all-encompassing performer from America and from cinema in the 1950s. He's very, very good as an entertainer, and he does this routine where he is critiquing modern dance in the movie. And here's what he does. It's the scene where they have like sort of Picasso stage sets and he's wearing like a beret and he's doing like a sort of a mamba. But what I realized when I watched the movie is that this is a critique on modernism and on art and the destructive nature of degenerate art that was overtaking America, especially in dance. And I never realized this watching it before, but what he's saying, what the song is about in the movie is basically that no longer are you watching it. Like, for instance, if you've ever gone to see Swan Lake at Christmas, you see something, or you've seen the Bolshoi Ballet, you see something beautiful. You're listening to Tchaikovsky, or you're watching a beautiful piece of art that you usually would go with your wife to, or you take your family to. But this is like a kind of high art that is that reigns above the sort of entertainment of film or kind of going to a concert. And when he's doing this routine in the movie, he's showing that all of that is going away, and what we're watching now is like this sort of what do they call it? Like Dago beatnik version of like modern dance corrupting what used to be something classical and taking it into territory that has arced all the way now into modern jazz dance, which is why we see every mother or housewife going to modern dance classes or hip hop dance classes, which is fine for exercise. But I'm saying when that takes over the beautiful art of dance in this sort of world, I think it's a sort of a satire on that within the film, if I'm making any sense. And I've never
I'm
seen
picking
that
up
in
what you're
a film
putting down.
before. I've never seen that in a film before. I've never seen such a really effective critique early on of postmodernism in a film, because White Christmas is there's no irony.
No,
The movie is totally wholesome and family oriented, and it's about love. Even the songs that they sing are when they sing snow.
Can I
snow,
pick up
snow,
on what you just said? It's about love. It's about romantic love. It's about love between friends, between Danny Kaye and Bing Crosby, and it's a you could call that love phileo, and then it has the agape love, the love of the general, the love of the troops, the love of the group itself, getting the guys back together. So you're spot on there. I just wanted to highlight for anybody who hadn't seen the movie, it literally encompasses all types of love, but that is really the essence of what White Christmas is about.
So I see it as a very positive movie, and
There's
the way that the movie, even the way the movie looks. By the way, I mean, when you look at, this is the opposite of the Grinch. The Grinch is a hypercolor movie that is frenetic, but this movie is a technicolor movie with a kind of timelessness built into it. It's going to continuously be restored. It's going to continuously be beautiful. And digital, especially the digital landscape of movies now, are by their very nature degrading, and they will continue to sort of dissolve. And
Right.
so this is the kind of antithetical to that.
Rachel she highlights that "Love You Didn't Do Right by Me," sung by Rosemary Clooney, is one of the best breakup songs of all time. Beautiful vocals and before auto-tune. And so for anybody who hadn't watched the movie, what Rachel's referring to is Rosemary Clooney, who her character is being set up with Bing Crosby. That's kind of the premise of the two sisters and him and Danny Kaye. That's the premise and sort of the plot line running through the movie, is that she believes Bing Crosby is trying to get all these soldiers together for an ulterior reason, for monetary gain, for popularity. And she thinks because, and this is actually something that my wife, I brought up to her, is that I said, this is why you can't listen to other women. So the secretary there at the hotel, she's listening in on Bing Crosby calls, and she catches a segment of which Bing Crosby wants to go on television, national television in New York, so that he can call all the soldiers for this purpose to go up to Vermont to celebrate the general. And the television host wants Bing Crosby to allow him to bring the whole TV crew and let's just do it live right there at the hotel.
We do it live.
No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to make a spectacle. And the TV guys, but you're going to make a killing. This is going to grow your guys' fame. This is going to be nationally viewed. And he ends up turning it down. But the secretary who's listening on the phone only hears a section of it. And she then starts spreading the rumor to the sisters at first that Bing Crosby, his real motive is not to celebrate the general, which it actually is. It's to make so much money, and he has an angle. Because through the movie, Bing Crosby's talking with these girls. He's like, what's your angle? Everybody has an angle. We're in showbiz, right? Everybody has an angle on how they're going to move forward or advance themselves in all their relationships. Every relationship has an angle. And for this, in the general, for Danny Kaye and Bing Crosby, there is no angle. The angle is that they love the general, and they actually want to get the guys together to celebrate the general because they see the state he's in. And so Rosemary Clooney sings the song in New York when she thinks Bing Crosby is this bad guy. He's about himself. She flees Vermont, goes back to New York. This is about probably right towards the end of the movie, past 3/4 of the film. And she's now at basically a nightclub. She's the main entertainment there. And she sings the song in front of Bing Crosby, who's now falling in love with her and doesn't understand why she keeps running away from him, because they shared this intimate kiss and this romantic moment. And so she sings this song, Love You Didn't Do Right by Me, while Bing Crosby is watching. And then the TV show host comes after she sings it, comes up to Bing Crosby, says, hey, we got to go. Bing Crosby's actually going on his TV show just to get the soldiers there. He's not taking the TV crew to Vermont. And she then thinks this reinforces why Love has done her wrong and Bing Crosby's this bad guy. It isn't until her sister actually makes it clear and she sees Bing Crosby's message on TV that, oh, he actually is doing it for the right reason. So this is, again, the wholesome of the film is that Rosemary Clooney returns back to Vermont because she's a central act in the show for the general. And then she, everybody nails their part in the play or the musical, and it goes off without a hitch. And so that's the song that Rachel's referring to here, Love You Didn't Do Right, which is a fantastic song. And Rosemary Clooney does an incredible vocal of it. It's
great that she's not vindictive either, that when they realize they're in the wrong, that they get back together.
Yes.
They don't hold this postmodern grudge, oh, well, why didn't you tell me? They figure out that they're wrong. He goes to get her back. She gets back with him. They end up together.
Yes.
It's
everything it's just a perfect, like you said, there's no irony, there's no anti-hero. It is what you think it is. It's, there's really not, I mean, you can pull symbolism, but it's not like some deeply layered film. It is what it appears to be. It's just a great film. It's a classic, timeless film.
Christmas is a time for reconciliation, and I think that one of the things that bothers me a lot is the sort of narrative that goes on even amongst common conversation now of that Christmas is such a hard time for people. It's a time when the worst parts of mental health come out, and we all know that's true. We all know that people who are lonely, who are sad, or who have lost things, or who are alone, have a hard time at Christmas. But it's not the overarching thing. It's a time for reconciliation. It's a time for being with your family, or saying you're sorry, or being with loved ones. It's right. It's the nativity of the Lord. It's the holiday is about the birth of God on earth. In a broken world, it's a continuous cycle of renewing our faith in the fact that God is born. He's a living God, and so I think that movies like this, even though this is entertainment, we're not supposed to, we don't get our morals from the movies. We can see sometimes reflected in films the best of the things that we want. We can look at a world that we want to achieve, even though it's fantastical, and we can sort of experience that together. And I think that this is a world that doesn't have to be God. Everything doesn't have to be about the awful murder that occurred in Hollywood and the Bondi Beach and the overloading of terror information that occurs every day. It doesn't have to be like that every day. It's also Christmas time. So you can put it away, man.
You had to bring up Bondi Beach, didn't you?
Yeah.
You couldn't just leave it alone.
Well, I was talking about it because my sister lived there.
That's true. No, we talked privately. Yeah. BLA actually talked about some of the recent terror events at Brown University and Bondi Beach in Australia. If somebody wants, they can ask us our thoughts about that later. BLA and I are pretty much on the same track, but I'm just teasing him. I do want to give we already said it, but thank you very much, Rachel, for gifting 10 memberships to both BLA and I. That's really very generous of you. And I just want to catch up. A couple people sent some questions in on Dono Chat and Streamlabs. The first one on Dono Chat, Mr. Fried Up Smith says, I'm 45 and growing up as a kid in the 80s, my favorite Christmas movie was The Christmas Toy. Are you guys familiar with this movie?
I don't know that one, and we're the same age. So what's The Christmas Toy, bro? We're about 45. Speaking of which, by the way, the guy who played the general in the movie is my age. What the fuck?
He was what?
He was 45.
He's like 55, 60.
I know. I mean, it's makeup too, but that's pretty crazy.
The Christmas Toy. I have never. Oh, this is like a Kermit the Frog type. I don't think I've ever seen this. This is a Muppet Christmas movie. 1998 VHS cover. Is this it? Because that, oh, okay. It was first televised in 1986. That would make sense now. You seen this?
No, I haven't seen that one. I don't watch Muppets.
I don't know. I've always took you as a Muppet guy. That surprises me.
No, man. I don't like that stuff, man. Freaks me out, dude. I
thought you loved clowns and dolls.
What about Muppet Babies? That was a good show.
Disgruntled Doc goes in 5. It says, "What is y'all's opinion of the Nutcracker musical for a Christmas movie?"
Yeah.
I think the Nutcrackers. We should add that one to the list next year as well. Right. We haven't reviewed the Nutcracker. I think the Nutcracker, solid Christmas.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. Okay. So now, since we just talked about reconciliation, love, essentially a perfect Christmas movie with White Christmas, I think it's only apropos then to turn to your favorite film, Bad Santa, where. I would say it's hard to even fit in the niche. Maybe some people would even question us considering it, on par with these other Christmas movies. It's clearly a Christmas movie, right? Yeah. So anybody who wants to say if Die Hard is a Christmas movie, which I actually count, my brother-in-law is adamant that his favorite Christmas movie is Lethal Weapon 1.
Okay.
But if those count, Bad Santa definitely has to count. But it is sort of off on its own, right? It's not like any other Christmas movie. The vulgarity, the message, the anti-hero of Billy Bob Thornton. Again, Thurman Merman, for me, I'm curious what you guys think. I mean, Bernie Mac is great in the movie too. Bernie Mac is hilarious. Thurman Merman, though, as a child actor, just how he's responding to like real vulgarity of Billy Bob Thornton, whether it was, clearly a scene, I think it's so on par. I love him as a character in that movie. How would you break down Bad Santa? So for me, it's not a family movie, as you already discussed when you watched it with your family. They weren't picking up on the same humor.
They did not.
There are hilarious spots of it. If you're not prone to vulgarity, it's probably not the movie for you. It's like I said, it's like an anti-Christmas movie. The guy's drunk. He's a thief. He's only in it for himself. He's
the biggest piece of shit of all time.
Yeah.
And he's a miserable curmudgeon. He's the worst. And
worse than the Scrooge.
I mean, he's the worst. But that's why, to me, it's so, I don't know, man. I just know that when I saw, this is was it like 2005 or 2003? Yeah. 2003.
And so you wouldn't get this film post 2020, like 2003. Like the movie is funny. The movie has great, I think it's worthwhile. Maybe you don't watch this with your children, but as an adult comedy in 2003, you couldn't remake this movie today.
Yeah, to me, this is another movie that is post 9/11, very, very much in the early 2000s America. Like this is, I'm not trying to make too much of it, but this really is to me the way that it was, and even the aesthetic of the movie, it looks like that. The sort of taupe. Like when he goes to the house and he's staying in Thurman Merman's house, just the way that things look to me is
grandma's sedated and old.
Yeah. She's on
father's
drugs.
In jail, but wealthy.
It's a very cozy movie though, and I actually watched this. I was living in New York in 2005 and I was living with my 3 best friends and it was Christmas time. I was sick. I couldn't work or anything. I was real sick. My friend was like, let's watch this movie. And I was like, this movie's going to be so shitty. Fuck that. I'm not watching this movie. And he put it on and it made me feel so good watching this movie, how bad this guy's life is. It's so good. So Billy Bob Thornton is a safecracker and he and the little guy by the way, the little guy is in Jingle All the Way. You notice that?
I don't think I picked up on that.
Jingle All the Way. So Jingle All the Way also gives us this movie.
Where is he at in Jingle All the Way? It's not
so when Arnie goes to the mall, so it gives us Megamind. It was kind of sort of around Toy Story time. It gives us Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but when it didn't give us that, but it's sort of in that universe.
Yeah,
but then when they go to the mall and he sees there's a bad Santa at the mall who sells a black market Action Man. And it's James Belushi.
Oh, yes.
And he says he's running like a mob factory full of bad Santas. And the little guy right there in the poster is his assistant.
Right. So now, remember, that's 1996. This movie is 2003.
Yeah. So these guys are safe crackers. And they basically go and they get a job as a Santa at a mall. And the first scene is him sitting. He's the mall fan. And the kid sits on his lap and he says, "What the fuck are you looking at?" And he pisses his pants.
How did your parents respond to Santa when you did that the first time they brought you to him? Did they apologize? Did they give him a new suit? How did they deal with that?
Holy shit. It's very fun. I'm sorry. It's very, very funny.
Well, and then yeah.
No, did you ever have to sit on Santa's lap?
I did.
Dude, I was like, I am not doing that. And my mom was like, "You better go sit on his lap." I had to take a picture. In the mall. It's in the mall. It's wholesome people out there. No, that was Sergeant Santa. Do you have a Sergeant Santa in your town?
No.
You know what Sergeant Santa, dude?
I'm not sure.
Dude, you want to see the most fucking, probably the most Christmas thing I've ever seen is we had a Sergeant Santa. He was a Salvation Army sergeant, like cop or whatever, and he was in the Salvation Army, and he was a Santa Claus, so you call him Sergeant Santa. And he and there's one, it might be the guy from my city, but he looks like Santa Claus 24/7, and he's called Sergeant Santa. And they asked him what was the hardest part about being, I'm gonna get serious here, they asked him what was the hardest part about being Santa Claus, and he said the hardest part is that just yesterday, I had to go give a little boy his wish. His wish was to meet Santa Claus, and he had leukemia.
Oh,
and he goes into the hospital. This kid is on his deathbed, and he lights up because he meets Santa Claus, and the kid dies in his arms.
oh
And so
my gosh.
he says he said it was the best and the worst day of his life. Right.
Wow.
He gets to see this kid's eyes light up, because he's happy in his last moment. So that's what we had in our town. So, I don't mind that.
I thought we were keeping it light tonight, BLA,
Yeah,
but
well,
my gosh.
Well, I'm sorry, but he was no Billy Bob Thornton. Billy Bob Thornton is pissing his pants.
Gosh, but just imagine all the Santa Clauses that do experience little moments like that.
Yeah.
I've been on a rampage. I've talked about in a previous stream this year that every time my wife and we go somewhere and shop, they always say Happy Holidays and always respond in their eyes, Merry Christmas.
Oh, really?
I do that at the there was it looked like some Southeast Asian girl wearing a mask, like a surgical mask, I guess, preventing the viruses, from getting to her. And she did that. And I looked at her and I said, Merry Christmas. And then she was kind of taken back. Like, it was just kind of, I don't know if I startled her, but it just broke her out of her routine, like of do.
I always say,
she said, Happy Holidays. And I looked back at her. I made eye contact. I said, Merry Christmas. She goes, oh, yeah, you too. And then went back to.
I always say, yeah, may the birth of the one true living God, the second person of the Trinity, Jesus Christ, King of the universe, have many blessings upon you forever.
I'm glad you're really keeping it light with everybody. I bet you're a hit at all the Christmas parties.
No, but I mean, no, when people say, remember that when that was a thing though in the 2010s, they only say Happy Holidays. Why are you saying Merry Christmas to me? It's like, I'm wishing you Merry Christmas. That's my thing. I mean, when you came up to me the first time and you said Happy Hanukkah, I said that's your thing. I appreciate that.
Well, I just as appreciative that you lit my menorah.
You don't spin a menorah, you spin a dreidel, okay? Cool. Okay. Anyway,
so
no, but he's a safe cracker, and they basically their job is he and the little guy, they infiltrate the malls of America, and then they wait till the lights go out, and then they crack the safes, and then they leave, and then he goes down to Florida, and then he drinks it all away until the next season. Right.
And that's when the movie really begins.
Yeah. So then he comes back up, and then he meets this he meets this kid whose name is Thurman Merman. And he basically moves into.
I just want to see what photos come up on my search engine when I put in Bad Santa and Thurman Merman. Keep going. I'm going to pull up images while you talk.
Yeah, he meets Thurman Merman, who's this kid right there.
Let me put in Thurman Merman. Oh my gosh.
And he basically moves into the house because he realizes this kid is living with his grandmother and his father has abandoned him. I mean, his father's in jail.
Yeah. Clearly have done some type of financial crimes, and the kid is oblivious, right? So
totally oblivious.
The kid thinks his dad, he says he's like gone on a trip and he'll be back in a year and a half.
Yeah.
And so, and the sad part is he asked him, "Where's your mom?" He's like, "Oh, she died." So his mother's dead. His father's in jail for financial crimes, and he lives with his grandmother in a very, essentially a mansion. Who's clearly sedated, watching the infomercials and operas during the day, and half there, half not. And every time someone comes in, she goes, "Oh, can I make you some cookies? Or can I make you a sandwich?" That's what it is. Can I make you a sandwich? And so
he's just sleep in the hot tub, and he's got like the rag over his face, and the kid
he's banging the bartender at the local bar because he can't stop drinking. While he's drinking while he's Santa with these kids sitting on him, sometimes pissing himself.
My favorite line is when he gets attacked in the parking lot, and he's like, "Listen to me, son of a bitch. My brother got killed killing you fuckers in Vietnam." Remember the guy's like Pakistan.
Yeah. So I mean, this movie in particular, the wholesome message at the end, and it's a long buildup, because if you watch it and you're like waiting for like BLA was talking about, the spirit of Christmas is reconciliation. So when you look at Jingle All the Way, reconciliation between Arnold and his son. White Christmas, reconciliation between the general and the soldiers, reconciliation between Bing Crosby and Rosemary Clooney. When you look at the Grinch, reconciliation between Whoville and the Grinch. But Bad Santa, you're like, where exactly is the reconciliation? And I would argue that the reconciliation is that by the end of the movie, Billy Bob Thornton, though still a degenerate, still the ultimate piece of shit, he has some sort of humanity and sees the naivete and the purity within Thurman Merman, that even while he's getting ready to be shot by police and is getting caught for doing the annual theft crime he and the black midget do, he makes sure to get an elephant toy, which technically isn't what Thurman Merman wanted, because he came back to tell him what he actually wanted, which was a gorilla. But he's looking between the pink and the purple elephant, and then grabs one to take it back to Thurman Merman, and then is being chased by the police, eventually shot on the doorstep. And Thurman Merman makes him a Christmas gift. It's some type of a wooden knife or a steak of some sort. And he cut himself on it, which Billy Bob Thornton didn't know how the kid cut himself. Turns out he was trying to make a gift for Santa. And Thurman Merman, though he knows Billy Bob Thornton isn't Santa. He always refers to him as Santa. He always refers to Billy Bob Thornton in an identity and status that is actually higher than the man who's actually occupying it. It's clearly not Santa Claus. It's the opposite of Santa Claus. And yet the purity of this kid keeps calling him Santa and keeps referring to him and acts as if he is Santa. And so then Billy Bob Thornton eventually tries to bring this toy back to him. It gets blood on. So you see the parallel, the callback there in the film. And then he goes to jail, but he doesn't die. And it sets the stage for Bad Santa 2. And so the reconciliation, where's the reconciliation in Bad Santa? I would say the reconciliation is Billy Bob Thornton finally doing an action that is not for himself, which is that's why he is the POS he is that every single decision he makes throughout the whole movie is only about self-gratification. And really
the movie, yeah.
Go ahead. What was that?
I think that the movie is also about the fact that he finds redemption through suffering and humiliation. You know, he humiliates himself in such a way. And yeah, I get it. I mean, the movie is somebody in the chat said they don't watch vulgar movies. And I do actually appreciate that comment. I mean, because there comes a point where, vulgarity to me can take sort of different forms. I generally, there's certain types of vulgarity that I don't like. This one is so over the top, though, from beginning to end, that I thought the point of it is that it is vulgaris. It's the sort of, this is the common person experiencing, dragging himself through the mud. He is so bad that there has to be some sort of redemptive moment in the end. And there is. And like you said, I think he reconciles himself, first of all, he gives rather than just takes. All he does
is the first time.
And so he gives something. He also reconciles Thurman Merman to Christmas. I mean,
yes,
he provides a Santa Claus for him.
What did he say? He said he hadn't received a gift because his dad went to jail last year. He received 0 Christmas gifts the year before. Thurman Merman, who is a kid, he's fat, he's weird.
He's bullied, and
he's bullied, socially awkward.
He's a father figure. He sort of teaches him how to stand up for himself, right, against the bullies.
Right.
It really is a strange movie because this kid is so weird. And we're sort of on Billy Bob Thornton's side, and then you see that the point of the movie really is that the kid is so weird that he really does seem to be. He's not the what we want him to be. He's not a kid who is traumatized and weird. He's weird because he's traumatized. He's actually weird because he seems to be so pure in the movie.
Right.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so there's one example of something pure. We all want something pure. We want something, White Christmas again is about that. We want something pure. We want to experience Christmas in its finest, purest form. I mean, we're talking about through entertainment here. And so Billy Bob Thornton finally achieves that. He finds something in this kid, and like any great movie, he has a kind of character arc where he actually grows. He actually grows in the movie, and you don't expect him to. And it ends up being a surprisingly touching movie. I mean, it really is pretty fantastic. And by the way, I'll say this: it wouldn't work if we didn't believe the characters, if we didn't believe that the little guy is going to backstab him or going to be a piece of, is going to be worse than he is, or if Bad Santa himself, we didn't believe that he is that degraded in the movie, but we believe that, but he has something warm in his eyes. And so I think it does end up being pretty wholesome in the end. Surprising.
Yes. And it's literally like the last 5 minutes of the film, like all the whole meeting is all.
Hey, you know what? I just realized that's all it takes. I mean, he's a thief, and isn't that the thief on the cross? I mean, at the 11th hour, he receives grace, and so.
That's what I was going to get at. So the bullet points I wrote down regarding Bad Santa was ritual is parody, talking about the ritual of Christmas. Even the Christianity when it's referenced. Morality is inverted, obviously. We've already kind of hit on that. Redemption is ironic, reluctant, incomplete, as we already talked about. I said it. I wrote down it's funny because it's sort of like the collapsing of the belief in Christmas. That's one of the ironies of it. That's what makes the audience laugh. And that the end of it. So this is my positive points is that it actually promotes by the end of the movie connection. And this idea that the vulnerable or the innocent still need to be protected, which is the irony of the film because it's so vulgar. It violates all innocence. It violates all purity. And the message at the end of the movie is that you still need to protect the vulnerable and the innocent, which is totally ironic based on how the film is. And then the last one that there's there's moral reckoning, right? There actually is good and bad. And Billy Bob Thornton recognizes it in himself. And so even though the film kind of portrays like, yes, he's a piece of shit. Yes, he's so vulgar. He's a thief. But it's like, is he really a bad guy or is he kind of part of the modern times? Yeah. You know, is he's kind of the product of it's 2003, the 21st century. But then at the end, there is a moral reckoning and there is a recognition. No, there actually is good and evil. And he's trying to do something good and give something to Thurman Merman, who is the vulnerable and the innocent archetype.
Yeah. Yeah. He, disgruntled Docs right there. Shouts out to disgruntled Docs. Says Thurman saves Billy.
Yeah.
I think he does. I think he does. And, someone said who's more vulnerable than an alcoholic who can't do anything right. I think that's part of it, that some of these movies, you also, I mean, the Grinch is sort of deals with this, that, these characters who are beastly like this, oftentimes are kind of an extension of characters who want to do anything. You feel like the guy in real life was a person who wanted to do anything that he wanted, and Billy Bob Thornton kind of does that, but you see how awful it is in his life. I mean, like when he's in Florida and he's pretending to be the barman,
yeah,
they chase him off. He's just a POS. But in the end, he does find redemption in this. I think that it does have a kind of, like you were talking about, it does have a kind of negative theology, like negative capability, which is like,
well, it's almost tantric in that
present. God
right?
is
like
present in his absence for most of the film in terms of how they think about God. God is not absent, but how they don't think about God in the movie.
Right.
And then in the end, seems to be, they find his presence in terms of his redemption. So,
and that's where I would say if there's anything that's really, how would masculinity fit in the movie Bad Santa? I would say for Thurman Merman, that's what Santa is left as. It's like his only association with a sort of masculine archetype. His father is gone. His mother has died. He lives with his grandmother. And Billy Bob Thornton is the worst type of masculine man. Like he's really not masculine because he's given over to all his hedonism, his temptations, his sin. There's nothing left there. His greed, his gluttony, his pride. But at the end, again, this giving the gift, giving the elephant back to which elephant typically symbolizes wisdom, giving the elephant back to Thurman Merman at the end of the movie is masculinity is still about protecting the vulnerable and the innocent, right? That's what I took from it, is that Thurman Merman, why again, he is my favorite character of the movie, but he is just the archetype of like the most vulnerable little boy, the most innocent, but the most naive, the weird. He almost, you want to beat him up. Like he's that kid, like when you are a kid, there's always that kid in the class. Like he's so annoying. You almost do want to beat him up, but that's who then Billy Bob Thornton ends up protecting in the end. Right.
Somebody clip that. Yeah.
All right.
So the Grinch, is that our last one?
Yeah, the Grinch is our last one. So where would you rank our four movies for tonight? So me personally, I would say number one thus far, and out of the four, is White Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Then for me, I would put Jingle All the Way and Bad Santa close 2 and 3. Now, I bet you have it inverted. You probably have Bad Santa as number 2. I have it as number 3. And I have Jingle All the Way as number 2. The Grinch number 4.
Yeah, my Grinch is 4.
Is that about right?
What's
your 4?
Grinch is 4. Yeah, it goes White Christmas, Bad Santa, Jingle All the Way, which is way below those two, and then Grinch. I mean, Grinch and Jingle All the Way are like something else. I really so my problem with the Grinch is that I know that it has a positive message somewhere. Okay, I know that. I'm aware of it, and I'm not criticizing that people love it. That's fine. I have no problem with people who like the Grinch. My problem is with the thing itself. I cannot stand this thing. I think it's again. I think this is a grotesque, macabre of
let me switch this.
Just a ghoulish slop fest of just a green goblin Grendel trying to eat children with Jim Carrey in a hair mask and a rat face. I don't, the cartoon is even one thing. But the film, I just can't, I don't like that it's Ron Howard. I don't like that it's, the poor little girl. I don't like that that there's a little girl in the movie. I don't like that the actress is a little girl. I think it was cruel to have a little girl as the actress in the movie. I think that's cruel.
That's the point is the little girl isn't afraid of the Grinch.
Imagine you have a daughter, right? And you've got a daughter and you're like, oh, we want your daughter to be in this movie. What's the movie? Oh, it's got Jim Carrey in it. And I'm like, okay, Ace Ventura was good. I like that. Can I be on the set? Absolutely not. It's Ron Howard. Yeah. Everyone around your daughter has a rat face from hell. Her main co-star is this green guy who's complaining all the time because of the prosthetics and the hair, right? And he's eating onions and glass, and he's like probably doing it for real because he's really into it and he wants a serious role. And he's like, "Where's my 20 million?" And Ron Howard's on there. I don't mean to be glib here, as Tom Cruise said, but I really don't like this. Part of it also is that it came out is it 2000? It came out in 2000. I remember when the ads came out for this movie, and I was thinking, what is this shit? Is this the new world? Is this the new world we're into? Because it's CGI, the CGI like.
This was Y2K was the Grinch.
I thought Y2K was the Grinch, and I thought, oh no, there's an event happening in like 9 months or something that is going to be it's going to be war. It's going to be this.
He was listening to the 2000 Alex Jones in like May and June. He's like, I know those towers are coming down.
A second Grinch has just hit the box office. Yeah, a budget of 123 million. Why would that be the budget? Why would that be honestly, why would that be the budget? Why would he have to sit through 20 hours of prosthetics? Why couldn't he just wear a Grinch costume? Why wouldn't he just wear a haircut? Why wouldn't he just wear Grinch pajama bottoms like every person trying to get their Oxycontin at
like
Walmart?
Every other person at Walmart
at 3 a.m. Yeah. So I don't know. You tell me what's great about it.
Isn't that your Sam's Club attire?
I don't know. I'm not a member there. I only go to Target.
I forgot. You're high class. You're Costco.
Yeah. No, I've never been to a
You don't
Costco.
shop with the plebs.
Yeah, I don't. I don't like to be around the poors. Okay, and they're Grinch. No,
somebody clip that.
I don't know.
So since for anybody who missed the beginning, cool. BLA actually, I thought he was a serious researcher. Come to find out, he can't even get 3 minutes through Jim Carrey's The Grinch.
Jason said methadone clinic chic. That is absolutely true. That's what that is. That's so that Jason, you guys have that's so true. All right. Anyway.
So BLA actually did not finish How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the 2000 film with Jim Carrey. So I'm going to, for anybody who hadn't seen it, give the quick little plot overview. if you want to contrast that with the actual book or the cartoon versions, the differences there, feel free. So to do it very quickly, the whole premise is that Cindy Lou Who is not exactly afraid of the Grinch and sees the humanity inside the Grinch, which brings Whoville and the Grinch together to break this historic tension they have. And the Grinch, this entity that has been driven to the mountaintop, living near the junkyard, has to do with him being humiliated as a child due to one of the more prominent women of Whoville, who is the, I guess, girlfriend, desired to be fiance of the mayor. And so as it goes, Cindy Lou Who's brother goes to the mountaintop and sort of awakens the ire of the Grinch at the beginning of the film. And eventually he comes back down to Whoville to cause terror, which ends with him wrapping Cindy Lou Who, her father working at the post office, in Christmas paper. She is like the package, if you will. You could play off that symbolism, but my partner in crime here didn't watch the film, so I guess I'd be talking to myself. And what happens is she then goes about trying to figure out who the Grinch is, because he actually saved her while she was going to be caught in a machine. The reason why he wrapped her in Christmas paper is because he needed to do something animus towards her, and he saves her, he rescues her, and she sees, oh, wow, the Grinch isn't all bad. So then he does something after she says, thank you for saving me. He has to do something mean and then wraps her in Christmas paper. So then she goes on a mission to find out who the Grinch is. And she awards him, I forget what the, somebody can correct me in the chat, what the term is for the sort of ambassador of Christmas each year, the Christmas cheer spirit or something. Somebody in the chat correct me. I know there's a specific term. And she thinks it should be the Grinch. And the mayor, who's a sort of self-serving, aggrandized megalomaniac, he wants to be the cheermeister. Thank you, disgruntled docs. Cheermeister. That's exactly what it is. So the cheermeister each year. And she wants to award it to the Grinch. The mayor wants it for himself, for more status, for more attention. And eventually, Cindy Lou Who's able to get to the Grinch and tell him that Whoville has decided that he should be the cheermeister. He comes, everything's going fun. They're feeding him Christmas cookies. He's being, stuffed and played with and kind of used as like a doll figure, an ornament of Christmas. And then he gets fed up eventually, destroys Christmas, then vows to destroy Christmas further, and then goes and steals everybody's gifts. Turns out, eventually, reconciliation. He returns all the gifts, and now the tension between Whoville and the Grinch is no longer, due to Cindy Lou Who, this young girl who was able to, though she would be the most vulnerable of Whoville, she was able to see through and see the humanity of the Grinch, see through the facade or the animal that he's become, and actually bring him and reconcile him back with the community itself. So it's sort of taking one that's been isolated and bringing them back into the collective. That's the movie of the 2000 film with Jim Carrey.
Yeah. So I guess he decided to do this because they thought he looked good in green in the mask, smoking. Right, literally. I mean, right.
I think Jim Carrey does a great job in the film.
I think. Listen, honestly, I think Jim Carrey is. I don't know about now. I guess he's what's that guy's name? The mushroom guy. What's the yeah, he's like a Terrence McKenna DMT. He got too toxified on DMT. We're all just dancing tetrahedrons on a plane of existence.
Yeah, you didn't like The Mask?
Whatever he is.
Liar.
No, I like The Mask. I don't like Liar Liar. I love Ace Ventura, and I love.
You don't like Liar Liar?
I don't like Liar Liar. I don't like liars.
You like the The Mask?
No, I didn't really like The Mask. I want it because I thought The Mask was going to be super funny, like Ace Ventura.
Don't tell me you're one of those guys that like the movie 23. Like that's your favorite Jim Carrey movie.
What's that? Is that the one where he's like
he sees 23 everywhere?
No, I did not like that, and I did not like the cable guy at all. That's the one that
I don't like the cable guy. I'm not a big cable guy.
I don't like like hardcore
Dumb and Dumber. Yeah, Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber's good. Yeah.
Thank you, Disgruntled Docs. At least there's some sane people here still.
Yeah. Well, listen, I didn't like Liar Liar because, again, it was like, I think it's just how old I am. It was just sort of after me. The Grinch and this and Jingle All the Way were sort of, it's kind of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for me. It was like I was already past the age where that was cool anymore. So I don't like.
You're beyond Leonardo and Raphael. I see.
Yeah. I don't really like that. But this movie, again, I'm not, I think that I'm not too negative about the Grinch. I mean, I think that I like it when people have a thing that they relate to Christmas, even though it may seem, to our based minds that it's.
What do you think about In Living Color?
That's my shit. I mean, Living Color is my shit.
Yeah,
that's
In Living Color is phenomenal.
Yes, In Living Color is amazing.
Yeah,
but I was a kid when that came out, so I watched that, all the time. Yeah, Fire Marshal Bill.
Fire Marshal Bill. The female bodybuilder he played.
Yeah, dude. No, Jim Carrey was the shit. And he was also based when it came early on when it came to stabbies. You remember that? I don't know what happened to him and all that stuff, and I'm not talking. I like it when people have a thing that they relate to Christmas and it gets them in the Christmas spirit, even if it's a thing like the Grinch. I don't really care, and I think that I understand why people like it because it brings to mind something innocent from their childhood and something that's cool, a cool sort of fairy tale story. That's fine. I just think it's a psychosexual grotesque, and that it's it's weird. It's like infantilized overstimulation.
Are you seeing this
weird hyperkinetic? This is the new Men on Film. I give that one 3 snaps and around the world. Yeah. But
oh god.
But
what about the Truman Show?
Dude, I love the Truman Show.
Okay.
But
this was one that I hadn't seen. Disgruntled Docs said Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I don't think I've ever watched that one.
No. So that one in Man on the Moon. So here's the problem. The problem with Jim Carrey is that comedic actors take on serious roles, and to do serious roles, they sort of break themselves to be taken seriously by doing overly macabre or sullen films, like just dour. And those are great movies. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is a good movie. I think Truman Show is a great movie because he's playing a serious role, but he's actually playing a lighthearted character, and he finds redemption in this Gnostic, actual Gnostic world that he's in by a guy, Chris Christo. Which Ed Harris should have won an Oscar for that movie. I Created You for a Television Show. That's a great movie.
Oh yeah, the Truman. Yeah.
The Truman Show is great, but Jim Carrey is playing he's doing something subtle there because he's playing a lighthearted character in a serious universe where he is railing against how they put him into a prison planet. Right. I actually think he was good in Batman. And
it's a micro critique of the technocracy we live in and of itself, and reality TV, and I mean it's a great critique of the 21st century.
But if you want to have a great, what actors should do is they should actually have serious actors playing comedic roles and see if they can. That's much more of a challenge than a comedic actor playing a serious role. Is to have a serious actor playing a comedic role. They can hardly ever do that.
Oh, yeah. Me, Myself, and Irene. That's another one. Thank you, Jason.
That's a great movie.
That's a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
So it sounds like all this hate for Jim Carrey and
no, I don't have hate for I don't have hate for Jim Carrey. I have hate for the Grinch.
Oh, okay.
The movie. Hold on. The movie. I even wrote down a quote from Me, Myself, and Irene. Oh, this is pretty lame. What does he say? I can feel you. He's like, I can feel you coming over my static radio. I can feel your fear. That's a great fucking movie, dude. Yeah, that one's really good. Me, Myself, and Irene is probably one of his top movies.
So
yeah, I didn't like
in
the
regards
mask,
to the actual story of the Grinch,
Mhm.
where are you ranking? Because much of your analysis has been focused on the role that Jim Carrey plays in this 2000 film. What is your analysis of the Grinch in total regarding the animations and even the more recent iterations of it as a Christmas film? So now the Grinch as a category of all the things that represent Grinch.
Well, I aside from my personal thoughts about Dr. Seuss, I've never liked Dr. Seuss.
Hold on, I got to dive into these. Why don't you like Dr. Seuss?
I don't like Dr.
Because eggs aren't green. Is that it?
Yeah. I don't like Dr. Seuss because I don't like nonsense world. I don't like that it's like you're taking two different layers. You're taking a child and it's cool how he's introducing kids to language, and sounds. But what ends up happening with Dr. Seuss inevitably, I don't know if this is his intention or whatever, but is that kids get older and they don't grow out of Dr. Seuss nonsense world. So the love of language doesn't translate into a love of
Peter
language.
Pan trap.
I do. And I really do think
in adolescence.
I really do think that. And I really think that Dr. Seuss,
on that one.
Shel Silverstein, and Lewis Carroll
Oh man,
they all exist in a world.
You're bringing back elementary school.
Yeah, they all exist in a nonsense world, which is a way of. I think that there's some sort of trap, and I never. The reason I never liked this is because I didn't like the way the animation looked in the books. There was too much like white. I can't explain this, but there was like too much white on the page with
the Shel Silverstein books.
No, this is
Dr. Seuss.
That's a whole other thing. Yeah, I really hate. I really hate Shel Silverstein. I really don't like that. I mean, and when I say don't like it, I mean I'm being serious. Like, it really makes me uncomfortable. Shel Silverstein, where the sidewalk ends and all that, and that and Dr. Seuss really, really make me uncomfortable. Alice in Wonderland and all that just really made me feel like something was wrong when I was a kid. Like I really don't like. I don't like nonsense rhymes. I didn't like words that weren't words. I didn't like doorways that are like kind of wonky, but they're not real doors. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're not parallel.
To me, I saw that when I was a kid, and I thought that's some sort of trap. Like that's a trap world where you're gonna go and you're not gonna get out. I really feel. I'm serious. Like I really feel that when I'm a kid. I mean, I have such strong feelings about it that, like, hopefully, God willing, one day we'll have children. And if we do, they are not watching this shit. They're not watching this. They're not watching Alice in Wonderland. They're not watching the Grinch.
What about the Wizard of Oz? I mean, how far did this?
I didn't like Wizard of Oz either.
Oh no.
I did not like that shit, man. I don't like.
No.
I don't like, and I saw it and stuff.
And this guy is supposed to be a cultural.
I do not like world. Listen, I was at a friend's house when I was 7 years old, and his mom rented Return to Oz. That also is what killed, because Return to Oz is so dark. Yeah, that gave us TikTok.
I'm talking about the original remastered Wizard of Oz.
I don't like that. I like
Jason does let BLA cook.
Wizard of Oz
in the fire.
Wizard of Oz. It's funny because Wizard of Oz and Gone with the Wind come out around the same time. I think the same year. Gone with the Wind is fine with me because it's also Technicolor. It's historical. It's about the South.
Gone with the Wind is fantastic.
And when I was a kid, I liked history. I liked Alexander the Great. I liked Lawrence of Arabia. I liked.
Gone with the Wind is a historic piece.
Yeah, and I like those things. I like things about like war or playing or imagination. I did not like the imagination given to me in a book like this. I didn't like. I mean, like Where the
Oh,
Wild
you
Things
love
Are.
Star Wars.
I didn't really love Star Wars that much. I thought it was cool, but it wasn't
Okay.
like my thing.
All
I
right.
like. I mean, when I was a little kid, I liked GI Joes and stuff.
Okay.
You know, I like guns and war and stuff, and
Fair
I like
enough.
playing outside. But movies like this, and I liked Swiss Family Robinson and Adventure and stuff. I didn't like wonky world with weird colors and things that are off that aren't.
I see.
Do you understand? And like,
I
I'm not criticizing people that think this is cool or that like it. I get it. It's just for me, there's something off about that. There's just something sort of repulsive about it.
think for me, I found it somewhat appealing because it opened up the possibility of like these. I always wanted this magical world. And that may have been why I was so susceptible to like getting into psychedelics so hard in my 20s, right? That I think that might be, and maybe you can argue it is a sort of a nostalgic desire in a sense, like because there is, the world is more magical when you're a child, and there's mystery, and everything's not has a rational answer, and things are supernatural. And then that kind of dissipates as you go older. And then I think the Harry Potter obsession, it's kind of adjacent to the psychedelic festival world as well, and it has to do with this sort of magical quality where the bright colors, like Alice in Wonderland, I always thought was really interesting. And when I got older and then got into, LSD for the first time, it's like, oh, I get it now, well, Lewis Carroll actually was another pervert. So many of these people are weird.
Turns out I was right about a lot of them.
It turns out he was kind of a pervert, and he's definitely a pedophile. And
tell me that I like Chronicles of Narnia. I just did an entire series on C.S. Lewis. I covered the entire Chronicles of Narnia. I covered a bunch of his books. So yeah, I love C.S. Lewis, and I love Chronicles of Narnia. I love Narnia.
So it sounds like it's not that you're anti-fiction.
No.
Written fiction. You love well detailed parallel worlds.
You see, Narnia is not nonsense.
Cool with Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, I mean, I like Lord of the Rings. I like it. People always ask me that because I feel like I should like it more than I do. I wasn't really into it when I was a kid. I was into Narnia. I really like Narnia. But see, Narnia is the opposite of all this. Narnia is ordered. Narnia is a reflection of Christ. It's a world where Christ exists as Aslan in an alternate world,
right?
And it's not overly moralistic. It's not overly didactic, and it awakens a sense of the child that we once were. So it's for adults and for children, and it's a perfect adventure story. This sort of stuff is not that. And I think that these sorts of books like Dr. Seuss and stuff, I think that it's like honestly, parents give these and read these to their children because they have good they have good intentions, and they have good faith. They think it's fun, it's colorful, it's childlike, it's a classic, and it awakens language in you because there's sounds. But the problem is that, again, the average person, I think, gets stuck in that as they don't go beyond that.
Right.
And so there has to be
a
series.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. So what I'm gathering now from your analysis is the reason why you don't like Shel Silverstein or Dr. Seuss so much compared to Chronicles of Narnia of C.S. Lewis. It's because even though it is a fantastic, magical world, fictional world, the layers of depth are so different that as you grow older, you can actually peer through the same thing and find new insights, where when you go back to a Dr. Seuss as an adult, it is kind of just, it is what it is. It's on the surface level. There's not a whole lot of depth there.
Yeah. And there's a whole cultural cottage industry that popped up around the Grinch, like with people, remember, like people would wear like Cat in the Hat hats.
Yes.
Like at festivals and shit. Like,
no, I think you're honest, because I can't for the life of me figure out how the Grinch is the most popular Christmas franchise in the world.
Yeah, because it's I think it's people's idea of the innocence of youth, but they also, many people never, and not people in the audience, but many people in the, world never got beyond that. So it's kind of like when you ask, if people's idea of what is great literature, and a lot of people will say Dr. Seuss, and they mean it sort of ironically, but it actually is, they actually don't mean it in an ironic sense. That's it. And I'm not like judging you have to have read, Dostoevsky or something. It's just that it's some sort of like mire. It's a trap that is meant to ensnare you or ends up ensnaring you or something. And then you never move beyond. If you want playful language, when you're a child and you got to move beyond that in steps and layers. And then you have to read yourself. This is the type of thing that was read to you when you were a child and you never read past it. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's hard not to take shots fired at my audience because 35% of them who voted said the Grinch was the better Christmas movie out of the four. So, I mean, maybe it's your audience, but if you're going to come over here and you're gonna shoot shots at my audience, man, I got to draw a line somewhere.
Here's what I'll say. I think this is better as a Christmas movie than. There was a trend for a long time of movies that came out at Christmas that were called Christmas movies that had nothing to do with Christmas. The one I think of right away is the movie Benjamin Button. Do you remember that movie with Brad Pitt?
Yeah.
That was marketed as a Christmas movie. It's a Christmas fairy tale. Part of it takes place at Christmas, and it is not. Movie? Yeah, it is not. And
I've seen that. I don't recall it ever. In my
that's mind kind of a Grinch movie. Like he ends up looking like the Grinch because he's born as an old man and he grows. I mean, that's worse. That's actually worse.
Yeah, anyway. Fair enough. So, in regards to we've done at least 10, if not 15 Christmas movies. Like I said, I believe this is our 4th year in a row doing it. What is the takeaway for 2025 moving into 2026? Going to be the best year of our lives, right? What is your favorite Christmas movie?
I don't know.
Personally. So I think we both agree that the greatest general Christmas movie is the Home Alone 1 and 2 with Macaulay Culkin. That it has Christian undertones. It's wholesome. It's family oriented. It's still kind of funny, even as an adult. At least it's something. It's not so juvenile, even though it is outlandish. It's ridiculous. Never could happen. But I would say Home Alone 1 and 2, and correct me if you feel differently. Generally, mass market. That is the best Christmas movies.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, what is your personal? Because my personal isn't Home Alone per se.
Yeah.
What is your personal?
My personal favorite Christmas movie is White Christmas because I watch it with my family.
Wow. See, I wasn't expecting that. You didn't say that when we reviewed it.
Yeah.
And you come out with your biases, man. If we're going to take your analysis seriously, you got to tell us, hey, this is my favorite, actually.
Well, I watch it with my family every year, and it reminds me of, it reminds me of family. And Christmas, again, to me is very special. And I'm about to, in just a couple days, we're about to go down there and be with my family again. All my cousins will be there, all my aunts and uncles, my mom and dad, my sister, and we have a big Christmas together. And it means I'm just very lucky, and God has blessed me.
You guys celebrate on Christmas Day together?
Oh yeah.
That's
cool. And we'll be there. We'll be down there for the.
How many people on an average Christmas you think is yours?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it used to be like, I don't know, 25 people. We'll all be in my grandparents' house, about 25 people. And my dream is, because what happens when you get older is that, if you have siblings and stuff, they have families, and then eventually, if you have like, for instance, the matriarch of my family, my grandmother, when she passed away, which was 32 years ago, 2 days ago, when she passed away, then it's like, then somebody else has to take over. So if a cousin who's older doesn't take up the mantle, then it sort of dissipates. And my dream is that that we will create a family, and that then we can, and that as we keep going, then we'll be able to buy a big house, and that I can have my entire family come here. And my dream is that I want to have Christmas every year with my whole family, my whole extended family, and they all have a place to stay in my house.
Are you
And
wanting
that
to move down south?
we want them to be here. We want them to come up here
Oh, okay.
for Christmas, because we go down there and we want them to come up here, and they'll come travel up here every year, and that they won't have to bring. My idea of a perfect party, I like. Okay, so let me just take a little sidetrack here. But throwing a party, the thing about Christmas parties
I feel like we're getting in the Christmas spirit here.
This is an etiquette thing that I'll just impart, that I hope maybe people can take it or not. You know, when you have Christmas parties, and if you get invited to a lot of parties, if you have one party at 5 and another party at 7 or whatever, a lot of people will go to the party and then they'll say, we got to go to the other party.
Right.
I think it's whatever party you accept first, you stay at the party. You don't leave the party to go to another party. If you accept it first, you stay at that party. They deserve your respect, your loyalty, and you can go to the other party next year. They should have asked you sooner.
So you probably hate Vince Vaughn's For Christmas movie.
Yes, I don't like that. I just don't like that. Yeah, just right off the bat. And my idea of a perfect party is of a perfect Christmas is to be able to have Christmas, the whole family's here, and nobody needs to bring anything. I don't need anybody asking, can I bring the potato salad? Can I bring they don't need to bring anything. We'll have everything for them. We'll provide everything. We'll have a place to stay for them. You have a room, you have a bed, that's what I want for Christmas. And so I think
that's really wholesome.
I
think that is the ideal of Christmas. When you just talked about reconciliation, making sure annually that the family bonds that are both the nuclear and the more extended are nurtured and reconciled and in place, because those are your people, like that. And that recognition, I think that is something that we could all think about, whether you have a large family or not, is potentially belonging to and contributing to. That's where you're talking about having children, but contributing to the opportunity to have like large Christmases where you are nurturing. I mean, that is the point of Christ's birth. That's what he's doing with humanity when he incarnates.
Yeah.
And so the idea of becoming successful enough, not for the vanity of having, Forrest Gump's house in Virginia, but so that annually you like that. But annually being able to actually have a true large family Christmas, and that's that's one of the things I think that's really the ideal.
Well, I think that when we learn, especially as men, you learn that when you were young, you wanted presents, and your idea of Christmas is getting stuff. And basically when you're a child, all you do is take, because that's fine, because you're supposed to. But
Right.
when you're an infant, you can't do anything. You everything's done for you. You can't eat. You can't. You have to be nursed. And then as you get older, you want things. People give you things. But the real idea, and that's great, because we're supposed to have a childlike spirit, and the greatest of the whoever is not like the greatest. These children cannot get into the kingdom. But I think that like as we get older, we learned that Christmas is really for the look on the child's face when the granddad gives him a present.
Right.
You learn when you're older that there's not really
and the thoughtfulness behind the present, right? So I've always been a gift card, and I was thinking about this because my wife, she's more of building or getting people like a basket type gift that is a lot of unique, specific things to that person collectively. So it doesn't have to be one big thing, but it's an offering to someone that is uniquely for them, which is a collection of things that that she thinks they would like. Where I'm like, here's 50, here's $100 gift card, like go get.
And that's
and
that's
it
cool,
really values again the gift giving spirit of what the point is, and the remembrance, because we all remember gifts we were given as kids. And it may not even be, just like to your point with grandfather, it may be a gift that someone gave you wasn't your favorite gift, but it had to do with the relationship of the meaning of the gift and who it was from.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the point of being a grown man is so that you can afford things for yourself. Part of it is that so you can afford things for yourself. If you want something, you can go buy it, right? I mean, that's part of it. You have a job or whatever, and then it's you can get a family and you can support them. But also, once you keep going, it's that it doesn't matter. You don't like. I think the older you get, you probably don't really want anything for Christmas. You just want to be able to give to your wife and to your kids, and I think that's. I mean, who wouldn't want like millions of dollars so that they could give presents to?
Right.
I'll say this. When I was 19 years old, I went on a mission trip to Honduras with my uncle in Mississippi, his church down there. We went to Honduras, and it was the middle of the summer, and we brought Christmas presents. And we were up in this village, up in this mountain village, and I won't get too much into it, but that it changed my life in a way that really it messed me up for a long time. It messed me up because we brought these presents, and it wasn't like donating things to the gym and you give them to kids or whatever. It was like we had things and we gave them to these little kids, and it was one of the most joyful. It was probably the most joyful thing that I've ever seen in my life. I mean, they really didn't have anything. They had nothing.
Right.
They were very, very poor, and it really fucked me up like for a long time. I think a lot of people probably here have gone through something like that, but it wasn't just that. I realized all that I had in my life, and that they, and I was thankful, and I hadn't really appreciated that. It was that I couldn't understand how there could it wasn't that I could. It was like I couldn't understand how there could be a world where I was allowed to see how happy these kids were to get this stuff. That makes sense?
Yeah.
I could not understand how I had been given this sort of gift.
Right.
And it really fucked me up for a long time. So my idea of joy is kind of to be able to make that, to give that. And also I will say this is one of the last things I'll say, that is that, remember somebody asked about C.S. Lewis earlier, and C.S. Lewis's idea in Narnia, how he ends Narnia, and his idea of how we think about heaven is, as a child, he says, the term is over, the holidays have begun. So it's the feeling that you have when school is out and you go to Christmas break. Right. You're free for Christmas vacation. That is what heaven sort of feels like. That's the joy of Christ, what it feels like to be free in Christ. And so I think that's a sort of perfect ending for me for where we are.
No, I totally agree. Now answer the question. What's your favorite Christmas movie? With all that said.
Yeah. I think of White Christmas.
Christmas. Oh yeah, you said White Christmas. Yeah. That's right. That's right. What were you on? No, It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah, I remember we covered that, and I've gone through sort of phases with that. I don't really like watching it right now because there's so much pain in the movie that he goes through. It's sort of very painful to watch, but I think it's a great Christmas classic. But it's going to take a few years for me to get back to that one because Catherine loves it. So
I would say my personal favorite in watching every year has to be Christmas Vacation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just, and White Christmas, my wife loved it. This was her first time seeing that. I used to watch it with my dad. So I grew up, the reason why I'm, Gone with the Wind, my parents are in their mid 70s. So I always had older parents when I was in high school. And my dad is very much, he's a boomer, but he's almost more of the World War II generation because his dad was so much older when he was born. So the music he likes, the movies he watches. I grew up with a lot of the older stuff, so I'm very familiar with a lot of those things. So I love those movies, and we watch as many of them as we can, especially with my wife, because they're just so wholesome, and there's always big takeaways there that anybody can glean from them. But Christmas Vacation, I think it still makes me laugh. Uncle Eddie, I already know what's coming. It's just every year. I look forward to, and I only watch that movie. Like it has to be after Thanksgiving. It has to be in the month of December.
Yeah.
And after Christmas, I don't watch any of that stuff. So it's only like from December 1st to basically December 24th or 24th.
Do you have a movie you watch like the night of Christmas after, like, for instance, a Christmas party or the next day?
I don't have anything specific. When I was a kid, my mom did read It's a Night Before Christmas. So we had a pop-up version of it. And so my mom or my dad would read that. At least when I was small. I mean, I was around a lot of older boys because my best friend was my neighbor and he had much older brothers. So at a very young age, I was exposed to a lot of stuff. So I knew Santa wasn't real pretty early. But when I did, what they would do is read It's a Night Before Christmas, and it was like this pop-up version. But that's the only thing that was there really ever a tradition on Christmas Eve other than going to church, right? You always go to church, hold the candles.
Yeah.
But after that, it was you get one present and you listen to It's a Night Before, listen to the reading of It's a Night Before.
Did you always pick what you knew would be a good present or the worst present?
A medium present. Yeah.
Yeah, I always picked the worst.
And my parents sometimes would box them so it wouldn't be obvious.
Yeah, but I knew who it was from, and it was going to be
usually it ended up being for some reason. I feel like so many of those presents were clothes, which you hate as a kid. Like the Christmas Eve present was so much. It's like a jacket, or your grandmother, got a sweater or some outfit. So yeah, I'd say that would probably be mine. So anyways, guys, let's go through some super chats. I know we have a few questions, and BLA, pull up all yours or anything that you want to highlight or comments.
Let's see.
Well, Emmanuel throws in 50 pesos and says, I don't like to be around the pores unless it's to bully.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. He knows.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I'd catch that while we were live. That is hilarious.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Yeah, Christian Zionism, as Junior says, base take. Hey,
shouts out. I got a super chat here in my Cash App. Shouts out to Ethan right there. He said for them DPH BLA streams, though, $20. Hey, thanks, Ethan.
Very nice.
Really appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for all the support. Thank you so much, dude.
Thank you, guys. And I just need 20 super chats. So 2 more will reach our goal for tonight, guys. And so if you are in the giving spirit for Christmas, feel free to send in 2 more over on my channel to reach our goal for tonight. And if you're feeling even more generous, give some Kotal Crew memberships or some BLA memberships. Austin DeTulio throws in 10, says Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, Austin. Brady Harvey throws in 5, says, let's get them super chats in, folks. Dr. DPH can't grift on his own, so I'm out here for the assist. Thank you very much, Brady. We got to get better with the grift, man. I don't know if you've been seeing how these ortho streamers are doing it online, but Andrew and the Jim Bobs of the world, Jay, these guys actually know how to be an e-diva, and we need to get better at this. So everybody's telling me I got to learn how to grift better. But anyways, thank you very much, Octavian. Do appreciate. He says we was the grift for $2.
That's what the Grinch brings. Christmas grifts.
Yeah, the Grinch brings Christmas grift. There you go. That's actually the true meaning of the Grinch. Is Grinch a Jew?
I mean, yeah.
Seems like it.
Yeah, he's a Grendel type. He really is a Grendel. He lives in the mountain like Grendel, like in Beowulf. So, yeah.
Gorilla Biscuit for $5 says, sorry, this is random, but have either of you heard of Gentle on My Mind by Glenn Campbell? And what are your thoughts? It's
No,
kind
I've
of
heard of
Christmassy, not
You
really.
Were Always on My Mind.
You know the
Were
song?
No, I know that. I know You Were Always on My Mind. I know
Okay.
Cold Kentucky
No, I'm not
Rain.
familiar with this song.
I know that song, Don't Cry Daddy. Ever heard that song?
Was that your childhood?
Yeah. Well, after I don't know. Did you ever get threatened with like lumps of coal for Christmas?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. The first time I lied was at Christmas. And I got in big trouble for that one. I had to say, "Don't cry, Daddy. Don't cry." No, but yeah. My dad would always get mad because my Christmas night movie after the Christmas party, like the night of Christmas, he'd always, since I was 14, I've always watched the movie Natural Born Killers on Christmas night. And he would always, every year, he comes out, "What are you watching? Why are you watching it? Why don't you watch something in the festive spirit?" He turns it off. I don't know. Only love can kill the demon.
Oh, gosh. Thomas says, I actually have a Christmas card from my dad I'll never throw away. Well, that's great. He sent it to me on December 19th, 2019. That night, oh my gosh, he passed away in his sleep. I think that card will stick with me more than any gift I've gotten. Wow, bro. That's heavy. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. You know, Lord have mercy. Memory eternal to your father. Yeah.
Hey, listen up, everybody. Hey, different note. Please buy my book. Buy my book, Runes.
Yeah, go ahead and chill it.
It's right here. This is Runes. This is my author copy. This is Runes. It's a second edition with bigger font. Look how big the font is.
Oh, yeah.
See, much bigger font. Please buy this. It's
great
on my
book.
website. It's also, I'll put a link in the chat again for you here, but it's a great stocking stuffer. I don't know if it's great. It's not exactly Christmas material, but I will say poems about Caligula and
yeah, it's kind of like it gives me like a warrior poem vibe.
Yeah, Klaus Barbie, but you know, it was inspired partly by Christmas. One of the best Christmases I had was I was living in Europe, and my family came over we met up in Rome. I flew to Rome, and
that would be fun.
And we stayed at the hotel right by the Trevi Fountain, and we were there for the entire Christmas holiday. It was great. So anyway, please buy my book, Runes. It's available on Amazon, and it's only $12. And it's very
get it, guys.
Buy another one because it's bigger font. So yeah. And also,
the link. Hey, do you have the abbreviated Amazon link? Because those Amazon links are long.
I just put it in there. It's a short link. It's very, very short. So
here,
put it in my chat.
Put it in the our chat so I can share it on StreamYard. So it goes to.
I'll post it on StreamYard. I don't know how to.
Okay.
Yeah, it should pop up right there. I don't know. But it's also at my. It's on my about page. It's on every stream. Do you see it?
No.
Hold on. Let me put it in here. Here you go. Right.
I'll put it in the video description too.
There we go.
Yeah, I got it. Here we go.
It's also on the about page. It's on every stream in the about. So buy that. Also,
here we go. Here we go.
There you go. And tomorrow night, by the way, I have a stream coming over at about, I think, 6:00, because tomorrow night on my channel, I'll be covering a bunch of stuff, including I'm doing a stream on what's called the Hounds of Love. So I'll be covering Sherlock Holmes. It's a literary stream. I'll be covering Sherlock Holmes and the Hound of the Baskervilles. The poet laureate, former poet laureate Ted Hughes, talking about hounds and then the esoteric and his wolf watching. And also, what else? I'll be covering the new Netflix series, The Beast in Me, as part of that, which is with Claire Danes and Matthew Rhys. It's very popular right now. I don't know if anybody here has watched it, but I'm going to discuss that because it deals with beasts. And it's really Matthew Rhys as a Ted Bundy character. And it's a pretty well done series. So that and Sherlock Holmes literary stream tomorrow night on my channel.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody go over it. Subscribe. He's hyperlinked in the title of my live stream. If you're over on my YouTube channel, click BLA's hyperlink in the title. Go over to his channel and make sure you subscribe. It's some of the best literary analysis out there. I mean, the amount of text he covers on a regular basis is incredible. I'm doing a course over on the Logos Academy. We just did session 1 on the Orthodox Survival course, which is basically Father Seraphim Rose's attempt at highlighting the intellectual history of the West post-schism and how it differentiated from the East. And we just did 2 chapters last night, and that was 5 hours. And so we're just now only going to do 1 chapter at a time for the rest of the document. And I tune into your streams, and you'll be covering like not just a whole book. Sometimes you'll be comparing 2 or 3 different books. Mm-hmm. And for those of you guys don't know, I find myself to be a bibliophile, but BLA, one of the things I truly respect about the guy is how much he really legitimately reads. It's incredible. And so shout out to you and your channel, and everybody go over there and subscribe. I'm telling you, it's quality stuff. All right, let's keep going here. So Octavian says, how did Die Hard not make this list? I will say we've already covered Die Hard, and we had very positive things to say generally about Die Hard. So we have done 10, I think almost up to 15. We need to make a list. We've covered
a bunch of movies altogether too, by the way.
Yes.
Like a ton. We've done like 30 movies or something altogether.
So. Yes, it is something of that nature. So I even have a playlist just all for, I think it's called movie reviews. It's only me with BLA. I need to check how many
There's a bunch more too from that list. They're on a list. And the first time that they dinged you, by the way, I think it was during the movie we covered Fallen with Denzel Washington.
Yes.
You remember that? I think that was the first movie where they dinged you in the middle because you were playing the opening, and it was it was like Warner Brothers. Yeah. Ding. Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's still a great movie. So we've done Die Hard. I think Die Hard, we argue maybe we should do Lethal Weapon 1. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you consider that a Christmas movie?
Sure. Yeah, I do. I do. I mean, why not? There are a bunch
we
of
should add the Nutcracker Lethal Weapon 1 for next year. Santa Claus with Tim Allen, and then
Miracle
come up
on
with another
69th
one.
Street.
Yeah. What'd you say?
Miracle on
Miracle on 34th Street. That'd be the 4 right there. Yeah. Those are 4 classics right there.
Miracle on 33rd Street. We should cover those next year.
Yeah. So no, Die Hard makes the list, just not my favorite.
That's sort of outside of that.
Sean throws in 2. Thank you very much, brother. Really appreciate it. Lockstep. I'm not kidding. I got my son a Turbo Man for Christmas. I wish I could show you guys. Wow, that's awesome. Well, actually, you know what, Lockstep? That's almost like the Ouroboros of consumerism, right? So the film, we just did a meta commentary on it about how it's, hyper capitalistic American consumerism. And now you get to give the gift that keeps on giving, and you get to give it back to your child. So to one proud American to another.
Or you'll put it on eBay where it'll be bought by like a 30-year-old.
30-year-old with
so awesome.
Cheeto dust on his keyboard and very strange images on his hardware.
It is funny how Jingle All the Way and the Grinch have the same riot that occurs for the presidents, like at the beginning of the film. Right. When the riot within the mall for the Turbo Man is the same thing that occurs at the beginning of the Grinch, how they're freaking out about getting the presents, but it's the same sort of kinetic sort of frenetic spirit that with hyper consumerism. So yeah,
He says, I got to send a picture of it. The box looked just like the movie. That's funny. Maximus Spike says, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you and your family, brother. Thank you very much for the support. And Putt Putt throws in 10. Thank you very much. New viewer here. Been loving the streams for the past few months. I got to mention the 3 Godfathers. Ooh, we have not covered the Godfathers. Of 1936 version, it's super Christian and tear jerking if you have 81 minutes to spare.
Okay, so no, I haven't seen that one. No,
I haven't either.
No, but is that a take on the wise men? There is a David O. Russell movie, Three Kings, by the way, that ties in with this also. George Clooney, Rosemary Clooney, George Clooney, Mark Wahlberg. Remember that movie from 2000 about about Saddam and they're stealing the gold, but it's about the Magi, but it's by extension, it's Three Kings. So maybe we should add that to the list. That's a kind of forgotten movie.
Right.
I think that's Christmas parallel. So
let me just check Dono chat. Nope, in Streamlabs. Do you have any other super chats or any comments you want to make?
I think that's it, you guys. Thank you to
Disgruntled Docs threw in 5 over here. Grifton ain't easy. Eternal sunshine for the Grinch's mind.
Nice.
Thank you so much, Disgruntled Docs. Merry Christmas. Blessed nativity to you and your family, brother. Hope you guys are doing well. The only thing I have to shill is my Logos Academy. I will say, guys, if you're interested in reading stuff, like we're going through Father Sarah from Rose, it's more like an online class because I already go over the material and kind of prepare a prep talk, but it's semi-lecturing, but it's more me working through the document and a group of men can talk about the topic having already read it together. And it's a really fun experience. So if you guys are interested in that, do go join us over at the Logos Academy. It is a men's only community. But if you're interested in learning and working through things, especially Father Sarah from Rose is the Orthodox Survival course, which is very much Orthodox history, a lot of philosophy and cultural historical stuff. So hopefully the value that I bring is adding commentary on how we understand and how all this stuff fits together as we move through the text. So that, and if you guys want my book, Return to Babylon from Adam to Antichrist, those links are in my video description. I'll share I need to get the shortened Amazon link. I don't have it on me. All that stuff is in the video description, but do grab a copy over on Amazon. And if you want to get an author copy, I'm waiting for the next shipment. I just got sold out of all the author copies I have to sign. So if you order through my website, I apologize. I'm not going to be able to send anything out before Christmas. So those are gone. But if you still would like a signed copy, go through my website. I can share that link right here. So thank you guys very much. BLA, God bless you, brother. Merry Christmas to you, man. Thanks, man. I look forward to the streams we do. They're always fun. There's always insightful because we watch the same thing. We do not discuss anything beforehand other than what we're going to look at. And I appreciate your friendship too. So in regards to reconciliation, man, I love you. God bless you. Congratulations to you and Catherine. I wish you guys the absolute best. And I wish you personal success. And I wish that you get your plantation in Virginia.
Yeah. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me again. Wish you and Ginny a blessed nativity. I hope you guys have a great Orthodox Christmas on January 7th. And
we're actually new calendar, so it's the same as last. Yeah, it's December 25th. Okay. We're new calendar.
Well, I hope everybody out there has a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I hope that we go strong into 2026 and we have they've been getting, we keep getting better and stay positive and stuff. And we just try and give and love each other. And also everybody should buy your book. If they don't have a copy of your book, they should buy it. Of course, it's high IQ analysis. And you are a PhD. So you guys, please buy Dr. Harry's a book. Again, I'll be live tomorrow night about 6 o'clock covering Sherlock Holmes. Lots of literary stuff coming up, and I'm on vacation starting tomorrow afternoon. So, yeah, that's it, everybody. Love y'all. Merry Christmas.
That's right. Merry Christmas. And I plan on having a few more streams before we actually reach the birth of our Lord and Savior. So I'll see you guys in the next one. As always, until then, God bless.